Suning, is it not the Best Actress award that you desire? I shall grant it to you, if you release my grandmother. It is too late. That which I seek must be seized by my own hand. I neglected to inform you that your grandmother is bound to a precipice. Lan Qingming's delicate feet, pale and tender, tread upon the gravel, drawing forth crimson droplets, yet she remains undeterred, allowing the rain to wash away the blood. You have 1 minute remaining. Commencing countdown. 59, 58. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Your grandmother's life hangs in the balance. Ah, grandmother. No. Lan Qingming drags her weary form upward, but alas, she arrives a moment too late. Xiaoming, take care of yourself. No. Grandmother. Lan Qingming collapses upon the ground, her face drenched in rain and tears. Suddenly, a mudslide causes the mountainside to collapse. Lan Qingming feels a jarring pain explode in her head, an influx of memories not her own flooding her consciousness. The Ice and Snow Continent, the Ice Spirit Snow Kingdom, also known as the Snow Capital. Due to its proximity to the far north, the temperatures remain perpetually frigid, bone-chilling, with snowflakes dancing through the air, rendering the streets desolate. At this moment, in the secluded and dilapidated courtyard of the general's residence in the Ice Spirit Snow Kingdom, wild grasses thrive, lending an air of desolation and decay. Within the courtyard lies a small bed fashioned from thatched straw. Typically, no one would dare pass through this forsaken yard, however. It is now crowded with maidservants, the scent of women's cosmetics overwhelming Lan Qingming's senses, which she finds exceedingly unpleasant. A sharp pain courses through her body as she slowly and laboriously opens her eyes, her gaze sharpening from a haze to clarity, momentarily stunned by the unfamiliar faces surrounding her. Has she truly traversed dimensions? Slap. In the original owner's memories, the middle-aged woman before her is Lin Yu, a concubine of the general's residence, in her 30s, brandishing a long whip that lashes against her skin, searing with pain. Lin Yu's voice is cold and menacing as she bellows, "Lan Qingming, you wretched girl. At such a tender age, you have learned to steal from others. Let me teach you a lesson in place of your deceased mother, and see if you dare to be so defiant again." Behind Lin Yu stands the illegitimate daughter, Lan Dixin, whose beautiful eyes gleam with triumph, her glee palpable as...
Subsequently, she found a piece of wood, picked up a blade, and engraved the words "Grave of Aunt Yu" onto it. Kneeling on the ground, she bowed 3 times, expressing her gratitude for Aunt Yu's life-saving grace and for the care bestowed upon Qingming over the years. Rest assured, I shall avenge you against the Lan family. Chapter 2. Unlocking the space left by my mother. Upon finishing her words, Lan Qingming felt her body become lighter, as if the original owner's lingering obsession had dissipated. She examined the bracelet that Aunt Yu had entrusted to her before her death. This was left to me by my mother. But why does it bear no prominent markings? After tinkering with it for a while without uncovering any mechanisms, she suddenly remembered Aunt Yu mentioning the need for blood to acknowledge the owner. She bit her finger, letting a drop fall onto the white jade, and suddenly the bracelet emitted a brilliant light. Is this a space? Using her will, Lan Qingming entered the space, where she discovered a letter from home. Upon opening it, she found it was a message from her mother. "Ming'er, by the time you read this letter, I may no longer be of this world. What I leave for you is the family heirloom passed down from my side. The general's manor is filled with predatory beasts. Ming'er, you must leave that place when you grow up. I have left you some funds and items that will aid you in your cultivation. That I must tell you a secret. Lan Qi is not your biological father, and I am not his wife. Our marriage was merely a facade to evade the enemy's pursuit. You may seek out my relatives in the imperial capital, your uncle Yi Qingyun, in the palace, with my token, the jade pendant. That I do not know where your true father is. He may have perished while protecting us." After reading this letter, Lan Qingming felt a heavy heart, experiencing maternal love for the first time, realizing that a mother's love could be so profound as to sacrifice life itself. With both her parents' fates uncertain, she understood that only by becoming strong could she hope to find them. This conviction solidified her resolve to grow stronger. She continued to explore the contents of the space. which included various weapons, elixirs, and tomes on cultivation. Young master, this is spiritual spring water, a sweet childlike voice chimed in. Who are you? Show yourself. Lan Qingming stepped into a small wooden cabin, finding it empty. Young master. This is a cultivation chamber, with spiritual energy dozens of times denser than outside. At that moment, a small sprite flew to her shoulder. Who are you? Lan Qingming gently cradled the sprite in her palm. It was quite lovely. Adorned in a pink princess dress, I am the guardian spirit of this space. That my previous master was your grandmother, but after her passing, it was entrusted to your mother, who never opened the space, thus leaving it to you. The sprite flitted around her. The family heirlooms of the Yi family are traditionally passed down only to males. Your mother must have possessed a rare treasure, which is why she was pursued. Lan Qingming anxiously inquired. If those thieves did not see the spatial bracelet, will they cease their pursuit of my mother? Does this mean they are still alive? The sprite hesitated. That should be the case. Regardless, young master, you must diligently enhance your strength. All right. Lan Qingming gently patted the sprite's head. What shall I call you? The sprite pondered for a long time, but could not recall its name. Young master, I don't know my name either, it said, sitting forlornly in Lan Qingming's palm. She smiled. Then shall we name you Xiaoling? The sprite, upon acquiring a name, joyfully circled around Lan Qingming. Yay. Thank you. Young master, I have a name now. Now, Xiaoling, will you show me around this space? Of course, young master. Here is the fertile black soil, suitable for planting herbs. Quickly step inside. This is spiritual spring water, beneficial for healing, beautifying, and unblocking meridians, aiding cultivation. The sprite urged her toward the pool. Upon entering, Lan Qingming felt her pores open, absorbing the dense spiritual energy of the space. She closed her eyes, and a cultivation manual flew toward her. Young master, catch it. Observe the techniques and incantations to channel your energy, the sprite exclaimed. Lan Qingming hastily caught the manual, and as she opened it, numerous characters and techniques floated into her consciousness, and she felt a surge of red spiritual energy gathering in her dantian. This red energy, according to the original owner's memories, represented one of 7 types of spiritual energy in this world: red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple, each corresponding to different realms of mastery. The 5 elements, metal, wood, water, earth, and fire, represent the 5 types of spiritual roots. Some individuals possess a single root, deemed geniuses, while others may have dual, triple, or even quintuple roots, with the latter considered waste due to slow cultivation speed. After reflecting, Lan Qingming closed her eyes to discern her own spiritual root. Young master, take a deep breath, open your senses, feel the power in nature, and find the force closest to you. Xiaoling guided her with its spiritual awareness, a guardian spirit of the space for over 10,000 years. It had aided many heirs of the Yi family in their cultivation processes, making it well acquainted with the intricacies and challenges of cultivation. That I feel it, Lan Qingming exclaimed, as flames enveloped her, yet she felt no pain. The flames shifted from red to blue, transforming into tiny flickering flames encircling her. Elated, she reached out to touch them, and the little flames danced in her palm. Countless tiny flames morphed into myriad sparks, entering her body without causing discomfort. Instead, she felt invigorated, as if a roaring inferno resided within her. Her meridians coursed with rich fire-type spiritual energy, and her dantian became a cluster of small flames. So this is the world of cultivation. What a marvelous sensation. She opened her eyes in delight, gazing at Xiaoling with crescent-shaped eyes. I did it, Xiaoling. I feel an abundance of power. Xiaoling joyfully soared around her. Wonderful, young master. You possess a single fire-type spiritual root, a true genius, and an exceptionally powerful flame, which will serve you well in alchemy and artifact forging. Lan Qingming, puzzled, asked, what are alchemy and artifact forging? Xiaoling presented her with 2 relevant books. Young master, these contain detailed explanations. All right, I will set these aside for now and explore how to navigate out of this forest. Be careful, young master, Xiaoling advised. The cold wind howled past, chilling her to the bone in the desolate woods, and she tightened her thin garments around her. Unsure of her surroundings, the unfamiliar environment seemed to harbor many hidden dangers. Having lived her past life under constant scrutiny, she was acutely aware of the predatory gazes around her. She sensed numerous wild beasts nearby, watching her intently, as if ready to pounce the moment she made a move. Assuming a defensive stance, Lan Qingming recognized her current inability to confront these formidable beasts. Chapter 3. Taking Ouyang as a master charging forward would surely lead to her demise. Carefully observing her surroundings, Lan Qingming noted that while the beasts were eager to devour her, they also seemed wary of something within the vicinity, unwilling to approach. Suddenly, a faint sound pierced the air. "Who is there? Show yourself," she called cautiously. A man stepped out from behind a tree, a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth, advancing toward her deliberately. "Well done. You reacted swiftly without any spiritual power. You're quite clever," he remarked, having intentionally made the sound to test her awareness. "Who are you? What do you want?" Lan Qingming shot back, her gaze fixed intently on the man. He chuckled softly. "Fear not, little girl. I mean you no harm. My name is Ouyang. Are you familiar with it?" "I am not." Lan Qingming frowned. The man, undeterred, pressed on. "Surely you've heard of the Mingyue Palace." "I do not know. The original owner's memories are scant." And she scarcely ventured out of the general's manner. "What is the Mingyue Palace? Is it impressive?" This question momentarily stumped Ouyang, leaving him at a loss for words. That he found the little girl before him amusing. It was the first time someone had asked him that, considering the Mingyue Palace is a place many aspiring cultivators long to enter but cannot. The Mingyue Palace is a realm of cultivation. "Would you like to go?" Ouyang crouched down, meeting her gaze with a kind expression. Lan Qingming understood that in this world, power dictated respect. Her own vulnerability stemmed from her lack of strength. The man before her exuded an aura of confidence, righteousness evident in his demeanor. Perhaps through him, she could gain entry into the Mingyue Palace to learn spells, ultimately providing her with the opportunity to exact revenge. Ouyang observed the girl, who was no taller than his waist, her eyes darting with shrewdness, her brow furrowed in contemplation, resembling a wise adult. "Have you made your decision, little girl? This is a rare opportunity." "Yes, I will accompany you to the Mingyue Palace. Thank you for your assistance. I will repay you in the future," Lan Qingming declared earnestly, pricking her finger to draw a drop of blood as a covenant. Pledging her oath to the heavens. I, Lan Qingming, hereby vow that if Ouyang brings me to the Mingyue Palace for proper training, I shall do my utmost to assist him in the future. This action startled Ouyang. Oh my! How does such a young child understand oaths to the heavens? Breaking such a vow could result in divine retribution. He was flabbergasted, realizing he had no need for the help of a child. "What have I done? What now?" Ouyang paced back and forth, his forehead glistening with sweat. "Once a promise is made, it is set in stone. I shall not waver. I cannot simply accept your kindness." "Little girl," replied a crisp, melodious voice. Ouyang was momentarily taken aback by the girl's words. She was far more mature than he had anticipated and harbored an aversion to being indebted to others. It seemed Ouyang had made a momentous decision. "Would you be willing to take me as your master? I am the lord of the Mingyue Palace and have never taken a disciple before. Upon meeting you today, I felt an inexplicable affinity and a desire to take you under my wing. You possess a remarkable resemblance to my younger self." The man's words left the petite Lan Qingming in a state of astonishment. The person before her held a prestigious status, serving as an excellent support. Furthermore, his powerful aura suggested formidable strength, making him an ideal mentor. With this in mind, Lan Qingming clenched her fists and bowed deeply. Exclaiming, "Yes, master," she knelt to perform the formal recognition of a disciple. Ouyang magically produced a jade pendant for her. This was the emblem of a disciple of the Mingyue Palace, granting her unrestricted access to any part of the palace. Lan Qingming tenderly caressed the warm jade, which felt soothing to her heart. "Thank you, master," she expressed gratefully, tracing her fingers over the 3 elegantly inscribed characters, Lan Qingming, which danced across the surface of the pendant with lifelike vibrancy. With a wave of his hand, Ouyang summoned a magnificent bird with wings. Lan Qingming gasped in surprise. "Do not be afraid. Grasp my hand and ascend. This is my contracted spirit beast. It will not harm you." Reassured, Lan Qingming relaxed. Since arriving in this otherworldly realm, she had encountered numerous scenarios that seemed lifted from a television drama. She climbed onto the back of the golden eagle, with Ouyang standing tall in front. This was her first experience flying at such heights. The surrounding clouds intrigued her, prompting her to reach out and grasp a cloud, which quickly dissipated in her hands. "Master, We can see everything down below. I can see the palace of the ice spirit snow country and the bustling market. It's so lively. Lan Qingming excitedly pointed out the sights below to Ouyang, having already begun to consider him as one of her own. Ah, by the way, Qingming, I haven't asked you why you were in the misty forest, especially at its very heart, but aren't your parents worried? Ouyang inquired, voicing his curiosity. Lan Qingming's joyful demeanor shifted to one of sorrow. My mother has passed away. I escaped from them. They treated me with harshness and cruelty. I vow to take revenge for my mother and Aunt Yu. The atmosphere around Lan Qingming turned heavy with resentment and anger. Ouyang had never encountered such intense animosity in someone so young that a sigh escaped him, dissolving into the mist. He felt compassion for her plight, yet he understood that her future would rely on her own fortitude. We have arrived at Mingyue Palace. As Lan Qingming dismounted from the soaring eagle, she gazed in awe at the grand entrance, where the words Mingyue Palace were inscribed, and inhaled the fresh air that enveloped the place. You have yet to open your spiritual veins, so you cannot perceive the spiritual energy for now. Your body is too weak. Let us return and recuperate for 3 months before beginning your training. Lan Qingming recognized that her master had her best interests at heart, as her body bore countless scars. Understood, master, she replied. Greetings, palace master. Ah, what brings you to my humble abode? An elderly man clad in a patchwork robe emerged. Oh, where did you find this little ragamuffin? Why is her face so dusty? The old man circled around her, inspecting her appearance. Qingdao, do refrain from teasing the young girl. This is my newly accepted disciple. Please examine her injuries, Ouyang urged. You have taken a disciple? Splendid. I shall check her immediately. Qingdao, the elderly man, proceeded to take her pulse. Goodness, such a young child has sustained so many injuries. She must recuperate for a few months. Very well then, Qingming, I shall take my leave for now, but I will return to check on you, Ouyang said, squatting down to confer with her, seemingly concerned that she might be uncomfortable alone. However, Lan Qingming was no mere child. I can manage. Master, all right, then I will come for you once you are healed, Ouyang said gently, brushing his fingers through her unkempt hair. Chapter 4. Recuperation all right. Lan Qingming affirmed, that moment. Qingdao prepared a medicinal bath. Calling out, little girl, come here and sit inside. It may hurt a bit, but you must endure. It will be very beneficial for your injuries that I've used many precious herbs. Without hesitation, Lan Qingming immersed herself in the bath. Feeling as if her bones were being torn apart from the pain, unable to suppress a cry. Oh dear. I hadn't finished speaking. This bath contains the bone-cleansing pill, which will help clear your meridians. It is essential for your future training, but it will be painful. You must persevere. Qingdao continued to speak, his voice a constant presence in her ears. After approximately 3 hours, he murmured to himself, why has she been absorbing the medicinal bath for so long? Has she truly absorbed it all? Unbelievable. I have never seen anyone stay in a medicinal bath for this long. Lan Qingming slowly opened her eyes, surveying the water she had soaked in, now murky and dark. She felt grimy and sticky, seeking out a source of clean water to wash herself thoroughly. After a refreshing bath, she donned the white disciple's robe provided to her. Observing her fair and delicate arms, she approached a water pool to examine her face. She possessed a perfectly oval visage, with 2 prominent canine teeth when she smiled and eyes that sparkled with a hint of mischief. Adorned with a distinguishing beauty mark at the corner. This looks quite like me. However, I often filmed at night and suffered from late nights, leaving my complexion pale and sallow. Did I spend a fortune on skincare? Yet this body, untouched by makeup, remains extraordinarily beautiful. Little girl, I didn't expect that after your cleansing, you would emerge so strikingly handsome. Qingdao chuckled, stroking his grizzled beard in amusement. Moreover, you managed to endure 3 hours in my medicinal bath without wasting any of my herbs. Well done. Lan Qingming bowed respectfully. Thank you, esteemed elder. Haha, no need for thanks. I am merely assisting Ouyang, he replied, returning to his herbal garden to tend to his plants. Lan Qingming retreated to her room, re-entering her spiritual space to cultivate. Little master, let us head to the cultivation chamber. The spiritual energy is abundant, Xiao Ling prompted. Indeed, she replied, channeling her internal energy, which manifested in a crimson hue. Little master, you have reached the 5th level of red spirit. The recent cleansing has opened your meridians, making future cultivation much smoother. Xiao Ling perched on her shoulder, explaining the cultivation rules of the realm. Each level is divided into 10 tiers. Reaching the 10th tier is known as the peak. For example, Red Spirit level 10 is termed Red Spirit Peak. Oh, Xiao Ling, I understand. I shall begin my cultivation now. Lan Qingming sat cross-legged, closing her eyes and feeling the spiritual energy of the world surging toward her. The guardian spirit, Xiao Ling, was astonished as she observed Lan Qingming's energy skyrocketing at an unprecedented pace. Red Spirit level 6, 7, 8. It continued to rise until it reached Red Spirit Peak before halting. Lan Qingming slowly opened her eyes, locking gazes with Xiao Ling. There's something on my face? She inquired, bewildered. No, little master. Your cultivation speed is simply extraordinary. Xiao Ling exclaimed in amazement. I have never encountered anyone with such a terrifying cultivation speed among all the single spirit root talents I have seen. It is utterly astonishing. Lan Qingming chuckled softly. It's nothing unusual. I feel as if the fire elements are entering my body on their own. Xiao Ling's eyes widened in envy. That only makes you more enviable. Little master, your cultivation is as effortless as eating. Others typically take 3 to 5 years to ascend from Red Spirit level 5 to Red Spirit Peak. Whereas you achieved it in merely 3 hours, imagine the shock that would cause. Lan Qingming recalled some memories from the original owner's past. It seems my younger sister, known as the Genius Girl, Lan Yixin, took 4 years just to reach Red Spirit level 6. The highest cultivator in the Lan family is our ancestor, who is merely at Green Spirit level 1, while my father, the head of the family, has attained Yellow Spirit level 7, making him a formidable expert in the Ice Spirit Snow Country. She suppressed the original owner's resentment, vowing, one day, I will repay them 1,000-fold. Though Xiao Ling resided within the spatial bracelet, she had witnessed how the Lan family mistreated her little master. Little master, do not be disheartened. I will accompany you on your quest for vengeance. Lan Qingming affectionately patted Xiao Ling's little head. All right, thank you, Xiao Ling master, follow me. I have something to show you, Xiao Ling said, leading her toward the treasure vault, rummaging through a pile of disordered books. Lan Qingming noticed her struggling and offered, Xiao Ling, what are you looking for? Let me help. No need, little master. I've found it. This one. Xiao Ling triumphantly produced a dusty tome. Lan Qingming took the book, brushed off the dust, and coughed, nearly choking. Flame's sword technique. The wielder's sword strikes are agile and ethereal, characterized by their flexibility and swiftness, with each strike capable of scorching the enemy. Hurry, little master. This sword technique is perfectly suited for your spirit root. You can start by learning the first form, Xiao Ling urged. With her eyes closed, Lan Qingming immersed herself in the teachings of the sword techniques within her consciousness. After a thorough reading, her hands instinctively began to move. From initial clumsiness, her movements grew increasingly proficient, and her sword strikes accelerated. Standing upon the grassy expanse of her space, she channeled her entire spirit energy, reciting the incantation. Flame sword technique, first form, fiery erosion. Her body darted swiftly in accordance with the sword technique, as if she were a shadow, visible only by the fluttering of her garments, leaving her opponents bewildered and unable to predict her strikes. The sound of applause echoed in the air. Xiao Ling clapped her hands joyfully and exclaimed, Wow, little master is amazing. Lan Qingming, having just executed a series of intricate moves, felt invigorated. Xiao Ling, I've finally mastered it. I feel an urgent need for a formidable sword. Little master, that is not an issue at all. This space is replete with everything one could desire. With a flutter of her wings, Xiao Ling flew into the treasure chamber, calling out, Little master, come quickly. Lan Qingming gazed in awe at the myriad styles of swords within. Wow. So many? Xiao Ling explained, Indeed, little master. For this space is unique to the Yi family and is passed down only to females. Suddenly, as Xiao Ling spoke, a shadow of sorrow crossed her face. Thus, many envious villains often seek to seize it, leading to the demise of every master who has protected it. Lan Qingming hugged her gently, feeling a pang of sympathy. It's all right, Xiao Ling, do not be sad. I will definitely protect you. Wiping her tears, Xiao Ling replied, Little master, now please close your eyes and feel the sword intent that resonates with your spirit. All right. Lan Qingming heightened her senses, perceiving a strong sword intent rushing towards her. She quickly summoned a protective barrier of spiritual energy, but it shattered in an instant. a beam of red light hurtling straight towards her face. "Little master," Xiaoling shouted. "Quick, drop some blood to recognize kinship." She pointed to a sword hilt in the corner. "This is the sword spirit attacking you. As long as you subdue it, it cannot harm you." "Okay." Lan Qingming swiftly drew a small knife from her side and cut her palm, letting the blood drip onto the scabbard. "Ouch, that hurts." The sword emitted a blinding red light, prompting Lan Qingming to instinctively shield her eyes. In a moment, the red glow vanished, and an arrogant childlike voice echoed. "You are my master?" Lan Qingming turned to see the scabbard speaking. "You are weak beyond compare. How could I have such a feeble master?" The immature male voice scoffed disdainfully. Lan Qingming felt a buzzing in her head and retorted, "If you're so impressive, why did I contract with you? Isn't that because you were the one who bled first?" The sword was infuriated, having merely intended to provoke this human, only to find herself bound to her. "Otherwise, my master would never be someone as pathetic as you." The sword spirit quivered in indignation, exhibiting its displeasure. Xiaoling then explained to Lan Qingming, "Little master, sword spirits are generally quite proud, especially one as divine as this. It is a rare find indeed." Lan Qingming realized the significance of having discovered a legendary sword, the god-slaying sword, lost to time. However, she firmly grasped the sword's body. "Even if you regret it now, it is of no consequence. You are bound to me unless I perish, in which case you may choose another master. Now, tell me your name." "Why should I tell you?" The sword spirit struggled defiantly, attempting to escape but finding itself trapped within the confines of the space. Lan Qingming utilized her spiritual power to restrain it, for once a contract is made, the sword cannot harm its master. Moreover, she was the current master of the space and could manipulate it at will. The sword spirit, exasperated, yelled, "Wretched woman, you are deceitful." With a challenge, it demanded, "Let me out, and we shall duel." Lan Qingming, recognizing its baiting, remained unfazed and casually dropped it to the ground. "Let us go, Xiaoling, to the hot springs. Let it fuss as it wishes." This action incited the sword spirit's fury as it continued to lament. "Ah, why don't you use the spiritual spring water to nurture me? If such a fine sword were to be ruined, you would suffer tremendous loss. Should it break, I would simply acquire a new one." "Perhaps one more obedient," Lan Qingming retorted, striding towards the spiritual spring, ignoring the sword spirit's complaints. She understood that the immature mindset of a sword spirit was akin to that of a 5- or 6-year-old child, throwing tantrums when denied what they desire. Lan Qingming had no intention of indulging it. She would let it make a fuss until it quieted down. "Little master, are you truly going to ignore it?" Xiaoling fluttered to rest in her palm, while Lan Qingming playfully teased her beautiful wings. "Do not concern yourself. We shall enjoy a relaxing soak in the hot springs to mend our wounds, after which I can seek my master for training." "Okay." Xiaoling obediently followed her lead. She settled into the warm waters of the hot spring, letting it soothe her weary body, closing her eyes in relaxation. So much had transpired recently that she had scarcely had time to rest, especially after the devastating loss of her grandmother. Then, inexplicably, she had crossed over into a realm of cultivation and narrowly escaped the abuse from her original family's harsh treatment. Everything felt like a dream. Yet it was all too real. She had always adhered to the principle of accepting her circumstances with grace. Emerging from the courtyard, Lan Qingming inquired for directions and found the palace of Ouyangyu. "Master, your disciple has fully recovered and is ready to cultivate." Lan Qingming clasped her fists, her gaze directed at the middle-aged man seated in the main position, engrossed in his documents. He glanced up at her in surprise. "Good disciple, you have healed so swiftly? It seems your physical constitution is quite remarkable." "Yes, thanks to Aunt Yu's medicinal pill. Otherwise, I would have perished by now." Mentioning Aunt Yu tightened her heart, a wave of sorrow washing over her. Ouyangyu sighed, offering words of comfort. "Focus on your cultivation. Once you grow stronger, you can return to seek vengeance. Lan Qingming began to channel her spiritual energy, a rich crimson hue enveloping her. Ouyang-Yu's eyes widened in astonishment. You have reached the peak of the red spirit, Mim?" Lan Qingming felt she had not exerted much effort, merely cultivating day and night. Ouyang-Yu, brimming with excitement, stood to check her pulse. "You possess an exceptional fire spirit root. No wonder your cultivation speed is astonishing. Tell me how long it took you to reach this level. Lan Qingming honestly replied, Master, it took 3 hours. Ouyang Yu nearly fainted from exhilaration, astonished that he had stumbled upon such a treasure. Do you know how long it typically takes for an ordinary person to reach this level? 3 years. Indeed, and you attained it in merely 3 hours. This is utterly unbelievable. Even the most gifted prince of the Ice Spirit Snow Kingdom took an entire year. Lan Qingming, maintaining a rational perspective, remarked, But master, those individuals began their training before I did. What level is that prince now? And how old is he? She inquired. Ouyang Yu pondered for a moment. Prince Qi Qingchen is merely 11 years old and has already reached the 4th stage of the Yellow Spirit. Master, that means he is indeed formidable, having surpassed me by 2 major tiers while being only 3 years older. If I were to face him, I would surely lose. Thus, I must continue my training. Only by becoming stronger can I protect those I wish to safeguard. Upon hearing her last sentiment, Ouyang Yu felt a swell of emotion. Indeed, strength is paramount. This child was neither arrogant nor impatient. Her temperament was stable, a promising prospect. Ouyang Yu gently patted her head. I have been too astonished. My disciple possesses wisdom beyond my own. You are still quite young, so do not disclose your spirit root and cultivation speed to others. The talented are often the targets of envy. Ouyang Yu's tone grew serious, having lived long enough to understand that some individuals wish to stifle the growth of a genius. Understood, Master. Disciple, we have a cultivation tower in our palace, where the spiritual energy is abundant. The cultivation tower comprises 7 levels, the topmost being the most concentrated in spiritual energy, yet the pressure is challenging for most to withstand. Typically, disciples must pay 500 spirit stones to enter. But you need only present your chief disciple's token. Lan Qingming's eyes brightened as she touched the jade pendant at her waist. Master, so this token has such benefits, indeed. It allows you to roam freely within the Mingyue Palace. Ouyang Yu replied with a smile. You may also visit the library to seek texts on cultivation, but remember to return them periodically. Do not forget to present your disciple token. Lan Qingming suddenly felt as though her jade pendant was a pass granting free access everywhere. Master, how can I earn spirit stones? I'm quite impoverished, she lamented, shaking her empty purse. Ouyang Yu found her lack of pretense quite amusing. Her straightforwardness resonated with him. You can accept tasks from the task hall to earn spirit stones. All right, Master, I shall not disturb your work any longer. Lan Qingming dashed off, while Ouyang Yu chuckled and shook his head. It seemed that the Mingyue Palace would soon be bustling with activity, for his disciple was not one to remain idle. Upon arriving at the entrance of the cultivation tower, Lan Qingming noticed a long queue forming. She silently joined the line. A cheerful girl who had just arrived struck up a conversation with her. Hello? Beautiful sister. Are you here to cultivate in the tower as well? Lan Qingming, not fond of socializing, replied curtly. The girl, seemingly oblivious to her cold demeanor, continued. I'm Inun. You are so pretty. What is your name? How is it that you're so young and already training in Mingyue Palace? Inun was an outgoing girl who couldn't resist chatting with anyone beautiful, despite Lan Qingming's icy expression. She found herself drawn to this vibrant girl who radiated warmth, sensing a maturity beyond her years. Feeling exasperated by the girl's persistence, Lan Qingming finally responded, I am Lan Qingming. She then turned her attention back to the queue. As she was next in line, Qingming, wait for me, and Iyun hurried to catch up. She had just observed that others were required to present their disciple tokens along with a pouch of spirit stones to gain entry. At the entrance, an elderly man with graying hair closed his eyes, merely waving his hand to collect the spirit stones into his storage, BG, and Iyun. Noticing that Lan Qingming had not produced any spirit stones, explained, Sister Qingming, you need 500 spirit stones to enter. Do you have any? No, Lan Qingming replied. Just as Iyun was about to offer assistance, she saw her produce the disciple token and place it on the table. The old man did not open his eyes but spoke in a frail voice. 500 spirit stones are required for entry. Sister Qingming, allow me to cover it for you, and Iyun exclaimed, but was halted by Lan Qingming's refusal. No need. Instead, she addressed the old man. My master said that presenting the disciple token is sufficient. The cultivators behind them immediately voiced their dissatisfaction, mocking, which master taught you that? The rules of Mingyue Palace state that all disciples must pay 500 spirit stones to enter. What gives you the right to bypass this? The old man slowly opened his eyes, and upon seeing the token, he stood up. You are the new disciple of the palace master? His murky gaze fixated on her. Yes. The ones who had just mocked her widened their eyes in disbelief. What? When did the palace master take on disciples? They felt as though they had been slapped in the face. Annie Yun felt a surge of happiness for her, exclaiming in astonishment, Sister Qingming, so you are the chief disciple. According to the rules, the chief disciple need not pay spirit stones. Simply presenting the disciple token grants access to any part of the palace. Elder, may I enter now? Lan Qingming felt uncomfortable standing there, under the scrutinizing eyes of everyone. The elder in charge of the cultivation tower stepped aside to let her pass. Upon crossing a barrier, she entered the first floor, where the most cultivators gathered. After all, this was the easiest level to access. Each subsequent floor required greater perseverance and talent. Little master, how many floors do you intend to ascend? Xiao Ling inquired from within her space. Without hesitation, Lan Qingming replied, 7 floors. I wish to give it a try. But, little master, your injuries have only just healed. This might be quite taxing for you. Xiao Ling expressed concern, urgently stating, no disciple has ever ascended to the 7th floor. It is fine, Xiao Ling, if I cannot overcome the obstacles before me. The future will only grow more arduous. Moreover, I must become stronger to seek my revenge. Determination flashed in Lan Qingming's eyes as she stepped onto the 2nd floor. She found the initial pressure manageable, but upon reaching the 2nd floor, she noticed a marked increase in the weight of the oppressive aura, dragging her legs, which felt as if they were burdened with immense weight. She persevered, each step amplifying the pressure she faced. By the 4th floor, her legs trembled, and she bent her body to continue forward. That moment, the cultivators on the 4th floor paused their training. Astounded by the sight of this young girl, such a small child had managed to reach the 4th floor. Her perseverance and talent were not to be underestimated. Those who made it to this level were typically prodigies, and they never expected to be outdone by a mere girl. Xiao Ling, witnessing her little master's suffering, could only silently sympathize. Little master, keep going. You've reached the 5th floor. The 5th floor had few cultivators, only 5 or 6 individuals, most of whom were elderly men or middle-aged uncles. When they saw a girl no taller than their shoulders climbing to this level, their eyes widened in disbelief. They even held their breath, fearful of disturbing her ascent. Little master, drink some spiritual spring water and take a moment to rest, Xiao Ling frantically suggested. The spiritual spring water is a healing remedy that can alleviate your pain. Okay. Lan Qingming, focused solely on climbing the stairs, had lost the energy to speak. She sat on the steps between the 5th and 6th floors to rest. This commotion soon attracted the attention of the elders from Mingyue Palace, who rushed to hear of a young girl attempting to ascend to the 7th floor. Initially, they thought it was mere gossip, but to their astonishment, the elder of the cultivation tower reported that the girl was nearing the 6th floor. The 6th floor, it was a level only previously scaled by the palace master. Ouyang Yu also heard the news and hurried over, realizing it was her newly accepted disciple. After regaining her strength, Lan Qingming continued her ascent to the 6th floor. She collapsed onto the ground, lacking even the strength to sit up. Little master, there are recovery pills in the space. Would you like to take one? Xiao Ling asked anxiously. Yes. After consuming the elixir, Lan Qingming finally felt a flicker of energy return. She pressed on, climbing another step. Chapter 7. Ascending to Orange Spirit. Ugh. Upon stepping onto a stair, she suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. Little master, Xiao Ling cried out in distress from within the space. I want to help share some of the burden, but I feel powerless. I'm fine, Lan Qingming said, wiping the blood from her lips at this point. Her spiritual energy was depleted, leaving her without any strength to resist the overwhelming pressure. Gritting her teeth, she forced her right foot forward, then her left. Lan Qingming bent over, bracing herself against the ground to avoid collapsing. Little master, keep going. Only 10 steps remain, Xiao Ling encouraged. Hang in there. The crowd of elders and disciples outside the cultivation tower grew larger, all watching intently for any sign of light from the 7th floor. The Grand Elder and the other 4 elders felt a sense of trepidation. Ouyang Yu was filled with anticipation, convinced that her young disciple would succeed. He recalled the courage she displayed when he first encountered her in the misty forest. Alongside her remarkable talent that it all pointed to her being a prodigy. This cultivation tower was merely a small hurdle she would surely overcome. Lan Qingming's consciousness began to blur, her mind clouded, deep within her. A voice urged her to persist and climb higher, to not stop or succumb to sleep. Only 6 stairs left. Xiao Ling, hand me the god-slaying sword. Lan Qingming shouted with her remaining strength. All right, the god-slaying sword spirit, initially reluctant, was forcibly pulled from the space by Xiao Ling. Lan Qingming took the sword and cut her palm. The sharp pain jolting her back to clarity. To her astonishment, she realized that her blood was being absorbed by the sword. The god-slaying sword spirit yelled in fury. Hey, you wretched woman, are you trying to harm yourself? Don't use me for that. You cunning woman, silence. Lan Qingming climbed another step. She discovered that climbing was less taxing than walking. So she resolved to continue ascending. With each step, when her energy waned, she would use the god-slaying sword to cut her skin, using the pain to stimulate her nerves. Both the god-slaying sword and Xiao Ling were taken aback by her actions. Xiao Ling felt a pang of sympathy for her little master, while the sword spirit was terrified. Never had it encountered such a ruthless woman, one who would inflict such pain upon herself. It silently clutched its body, wishing to distance itself from this frightening woman. Indeed, it was said that women are the most dangerous beings to offend, for they hold grudges, and it was uncertain whether its previous resistance would invoke her wrath. How terrifying! Finally, it witnessed the fearsome nature of women. Those who are harsh with themselves are often even harsher with others, for they possess no emotions. Little master, only one step remains. You can do it. Xiao Ling held her breath, watching intently. Even the sword spirit, who typically bore a grudge against Lan Qingming, encouraged her. You stubborn woman, hang in there. If you can't even ascend this rickety staircase, I'll lose all respect for you. With the last vestiges of her strength, Lan Qingming ascended, only to collapse onto the ground the moment she reached the top. Xiao Ling let out a relieved sigh. Thankfully, she had made it. Outside the cultivation tower, a jubilant cheer erupted. She truly ascended to the 7th floor. This marked the first time in the history of Mingyue Palace. Ouyang Yu nodded with satisfaction, subsequently boasting to the elders, "This is my newly accepted disciple." The elders were stunned. The Grand Elder had contemplated taking a disciple, but had not anticipated such a promising talent would already be claimed by the palace master. Resigned, the Grand Elder congratulated Ouyang Yu. Congratulations on acquiring such a remarkable disciple. Internally, however, he felt as though his heart had shattered, lamenting the loss of this once-in-a-century prodigy, especially since she was a fire elemental single-rooted cultivator. Single-rooted cultivators were already rare, and her ascension to the 7th floor only foretold a bright future ahead. Within the cultivation tower, Lan Qingming slowly regained consciousness, feeling a surge of rich spiritual energy flooding into her body. Her spiritual energy began to circulate rapidly, channeling into her dantian. Her spiritual power escalated swiftly, reaching orange spirit level 1, then 2, 3, and 4. Finally, it came to a halt. Lan Qingming hurriedly stabilized her internal energy, ensuring it remained firmly at orange spirit level 4. After all, a sudden leap in levels could lead to instability. She slowly opened her eyes, exhaling a breath of stale air, surveying the vacant surroundings, which housed a few rooms for her cultivation at that moment. The lights on the 7th floor of the cultivation tower illuminated brightly. Below, disciples preparing to enter the tower were taken aback to see the 7th floor unexpectedly aglow. Whispers spread among the palace disciples, claiming that the palace master had taken on an extraordinary genius. Upon hearing the news, Ouyang Yu realized that excessive praise could be detrimental to her, hastily instructing the disciples to keep the information under wraps. Lan Qingming found an empty room, sat down, and prepared to meditate. "Little master, it seems you left the sword outside," Xiao Ling shouted from within the space. "Oh no, my sword." Lan Qingming hurried out of the room to retrieve the pitifully abandoned god-slaying sword spirit. The sword spirit, indignant, protested, "Ah, you wretched woman, how dare you discard me outside?" "I am furious," Lan Qingming, aware of her own mistake, awkwardly explained. "I apologize, it was merely an accident. Let me send you into the space." The sword spirit, pacified, replied, "Very well. You ought to hasten your cultivation. As my master, your skills are woefully inadequate. Understanding this, Lan Qingming felt invigorated. The 7th level of the cultivation tower is indeed a place coveted by all cultivators. The spiritual energy here is tenfold denser than that found outside. However, the threshold for entry is exceedingly high. She herself nearly faltered, but was relieved that hard work yields rewards. She had suddenly advanced by 4 ranks and intended to cultivate here for a year. Planning to venture out for trials once she reached the yellow spirit level. The minimum standard for practitioners to leave the task hall is to be at least at the yellow spirit level. Otherwise, they are condemned to perform menial tasks within the palace to earn spirit stones. Keep it up, little master, the little spirit encouraged. Lan Qingming closed her eyes and sat in meditation, channeling the abundant fire-type spiritual energy within her, continuously drawing it into her body and into her dantian. 3 months later, she sensed something unusual in her dantian as the external spiritual energy surged into her being. The elder guarding the cultivation tower noticed the anomaly and hurriedly glanced towards the 7th level. Is this the singular fire root? Advancing so swiftly, and within just 3 months again on the verge of another breakthrough. Alas, this child's future is limitless. Lan Qingming felt the flames in her dantian grow larger, and her spiritual energy ascended to a new height. Orange Spirit, 5th rank. The little spirit joyfully congratulated her. You're amazing, little master. Advancing so quickly, it seems the yellow spirit level is just around the corner. Chapter 8. Entering the beast arena for practice. Thank you, little spirit. However, I must dedicate myself over the next 9 months to strive for a breakthrough to the yellow spirit level next year. And then we can embark on our adventures. Lan Qingming responded with a smile. Hooray! By the way, little master, once you reach the yellow spirit level, the space will reward you with an item. Curious, Lan Qingming inquired. What item? The little spirit replied. I do not know yet. All right, I shall continue my cultivation. Do we have any fasting pills? Lan Qingming felt a pang of hunger after not eating for quite some time. Yes, little master. Here you go. Once you reach the fasting state, you will no longer need these pills. Lan Qingming hesitated. I do not intend to fast. I still wish to savor the delicacies of the mortal realm. The little spirit, having never tasted mortal cuisine, could not comprehend her sentiment. But consuming earthly grains is detrimental to your cultivation. It will only accumulate impurities in your body. Lan Qingming waved her hand dismissively. It's all right. I can take my time with cultivation, but to forsake gourmet food is simply out of the question. During her previous career as an actress, she had been strictly prohibited by her manager from indulging in fried foods and carbohydrates. Yet, she often sneaked bites, relishing the exquisite tastes of the human world. Little spirit, you've never tasted it. When I indulge, I'll showcase my culinary skills to you, and I guarantee you will fall in love with it. Speaking of food filled Lan Qingming with joy. The little spirit, intrigued, responded, all right. In the ensuing 9 months, Lan Qingming progressed through the ranks every 2 to 3 months, solidifying her spiritual power. Little spirit, I still feel I lack practical combat training. I must practice my sword techniques daily in the space. The little spirit wholeheartedly agreed. Little master, you are now at the 9th rank of Orange Spirit, yet your sword techniques remain unrefined. It is indeed time to practice earnestly. The space contains a beast arena where you can hone your sword skills, she suggested. Excellent. Lan Qingming activated her will to enter the space. Upon seeing her arrive, the little spirit promptly flew into her palm, playfully saying, Little master, I haven't seen you in ages. I missed you too, little spirit. Lan Qingming affectionately patted her head. The sword spirit of the slashing god remarked, After all these months, you've only gained this little energy? Humph, my previous master was an unparalleled genius. The little spirit retorted, Oh, why don't you go find your former master then? The sword spirit fell silent for a moment before replying, I no longer remember what she looked like. How can someone forget their own master? The little spirit asked, genuinely puzzled. Moreover, given the way the sword spirit incessantly boasted about his previous master, it seemed he held her in high regard. How could he possibly forget? Lan Qingming entered the beast arena, which was designed to mimic an ancient forest, yet it concealed dangers at every turn. The little spirit began to explain, Little master, the wild beasts here are virtual. As long as you defeat one, it will disappear, and the space will arrange for you a more formidable opponent. There is no life-threatening danger. It is tailored for your growth and very beneficial. Without hesitation, Lan Qingming entered, desperately needing to enhance her strength. Otherwise, she would be utterly outmatched on her next expedition. Little spirit, I'm going in. All right, little master. The little spirit silently activated the light screen, preparing to monitor her progress in real time. The sword spirit of the slashing god, curious, leaned in. What is this intriguing device? Show it to me. His sword body circled the light screen, astonished. I can actually see that wretched woman fighting inside. The little spirit rolled her eyes at him. You were always so harsh with the master. Now you act like an ignorant bumpkin. I thought you were impressive. How do you not recognize this? The sword spirit grumbled, somewhat disgruntled. What do you know? I lived hundreds of years ago. Such inventions didn't exist back then. Moreover, there is a saying, others' opinions are a mirror of oneself. If she hears me say she is weak, she will intensify her training and grow stronger. And look at how hard she has been working lately. Isn't it thanks to my provocation? The little spirit was taken aback, realizing there was such reasoning. However, it was true that the little master had been exceptionally diligent. The sword spirit continued, isn't that what matters? Her progress is ultimately beneficial to her. The little spirit now thoroughly agreed with the sword spirit's words, casting an admiring glance at him. Truly, one who has lived for so many years possesses great wisdom. The little spirit earnestly praised, you are indeed wise. The sword spirit nearly spat out a mouthful of blood. Did you just call me old? Are you certain? I'm still young and handsome. Do you lack vision? The little spirit responded, but didn't you say you've lived for over 1,000 years? Surely you must be aging and losing your luster by now. Perhaps your sword is on the brink of rusting. The sword spirit exclaimed, what did you say? I'm old. Do you lack perception? Sword spirits typically live for thousands of years. I am youthful and vigorous, and a divine sword like mine never rusts. How dare you say such things to me? The little spirit, bewildered, nodded. I apologize, sword spirit. I didn't know these things, but I do know that our space spirits also never die. Seeing her sincere apology, the sword spirit snorted coldly, unwilling to pursue the matter further. After all, with her petite stature, she could hardly withstand even a single strike from him. Remember to be mindful of your words next time. The sword spirit threatened ominously. The little spirit, frightened, shrank back her head and flew 10 meters away. In the beast arena, Lan Qingming unleashed her flame sword technique, utilizing her petite figure and agile swordplay to evade the beast's attacks. Before her stood a massive wild bull, charging at her silently. Lan Qingming leaped behind it, observing its weakness. Its legs. If she could strike at its feet, it would be unable to charge at her. She silently recited the incantation, flame sword technique. First move, scorching flames erosion. Scorching flames rushed toward the wild bull's legs at lightning speed, encircling it in a fiery ring that it bellowed in fury before its shadow vanished. A figure flashed in Lan Qingming's mind, demonstrating the second move, and her hands instinctively followed suit. The speed of her attacks increased exponentially. Flame sword technique. Second move, infernal flames. Her spiritual energy instantly transformed into countless small fireballs. Launching toward the enemy, unavoidable, a lion's roar erupted, and before her appeared a fierce lion. Chapter 9. Battling the Yellow Spirit Lion. The lion glared at her menacingly, drool dripping from its mouth, as if savoring a meal about to be served. A beast at the Yellow Spirit rank. How could such a formidable creature appear so suddenly? Lan Qingming was slightly astonished. Could this be a mechanism of the space? The difficulty was increasing, and it seemed she was about to engage in a battle of higher ranks today. The little spirit watching from the light screen was sweating nervously. Little master, you can do it. The sword spirit furrowed his brow. This beast is 2 ranks higher than her. Can she overcome it? She is merely at the orange spirit level, and her practical combat experience is lacking. Why arrange such a powerful foe for her? It's crucial to note that although yellow spirit and orange spirit differ by only 2 ranks, the disparity in combat capability is vast. The little spirit was on the verge of tears. I don't understand why this is happening. It never occurred like this before. Beast would only be 1 rank higher at most. Feeling the overwhelming pressure that rendered her breathless, Lan Qingming realized this was indeed the weight of the yellow spirit. It was undeniably potent. However, she relished the challenge of facing stronger foes, preparing for battle. She took a sip of spiritual spring water to restore her strength, keenly observing the lion's movements, ready to evade its onslaught and strike at its weaknesses. In her mind, she rapidly contemplated the lion's vulnerabilities. The lion opened its mouth, revealing sharp fangs as it lunged toward her. Lan Qingming attempted to leap out of the way, but the yellow spirit's pressure immobilized her in that split second as the lion's jaws closed in. Lan Qingming kicked at its abdomen and rolled past it. Enraged, the lion felt it had been humiliated by a mere human. As she turned around abruptly, she lunged toward her with ferocity, attempting to bite. Lan Qingming evaded him several times, skillfully utilizing the surrounding trees for cover. A large tree was knocked askew and toppled to the ground by the mighty lion. Concealed within the branches, Lan Qingming shielded her body. However, the beast possessed a keen sense of smell. She had inadvertently sustained a deep scratch from its claws during their skirmish. Now, her delicate arm bore 3 gashes that penetrated to the bone, blood oozing continuously from the wounds. The lion, drawn by the scent of her blood, paused beneath the tree where she hid, relentlessly battering the roots in an attempt to dislodge her. Lan Qingming closed her eyes and leaped to another tree, continuing to engage in a tactical dance with him. Suddenly, she locked eyes with the lion and recognized her opportunity. She descended, ready to confront the lion head-on. She silently recited the incantation. Flame Sword Technique. Second form, Infernal Fire Incineration. Flames, conjured from her will, morphed into 2 colossal fireballs, hurtling toward the lion's eyes and mouth. With a roar of fury, he let out a final bellow before vanishing from sight. Exhausted, Lan Qingming collapsed onto the ground. This was her second time employing the second form, a technique that demanded immense spiritual energy. Her mental fortitude had nearly evaporated, and at that moment, the illusionary realm shifted unexpectedly. Casting her out, the abundant spiritual energy in the space surged into her body, revitalizing her spirit. This battle imparted invaluable lessons, solidifying her spiritual power. Henceforth, she dedicated time each day to engage in combat within the arena. After several months, she noticed the emergence of defined abdominal muscles, a feat she had never achieved during her acting days. Moreover, she had grown significantly taller. Her original court attire had become quite short, accentuating her beauty even further. A small flickering flame danced upon her forehead, enhancing her already striking features and rendering her breathtakingly fierce. Recently, Lan Qingming had a premonition that she was on the verge of a breakthrough. Not long ago, she had reached the pinnacle of Orange Spirit and was now tantalizingly close to Yellow Spirit. Lan Qingming understood that ascending to the next level was a formidable challenge. Some individuals required 7 to 8 years to achieve such a breakthrough. This year, she practiced by day and engaged in battles at night, her cultivation steadily progressing and stabilizing. There were no signs of hastened advancement, leading to instability in her spiritual energy. One day, after meditating for an entire day, evening approached with no indication of her intention to enter the arena. Xiao Ling, perplexed, inquired of the sword spirit, "What is going on with the young master? Wasn't she always punctual before?" "She is about to break through," the sword spirit replied solemnly. "Do. What should we do? The advancement to Yellow Spirit shouldn't pose any danger, right?" Xiao Ling expressed her concern. The sword spirit observed the surging spiritual energy enveloping her body, noting that this was not a typical sign of advancing to Yellow Spirit. The energy coalesced into several currents, and the sudden surge alarmed all the elders of Mingyue Palace. Ouyang Yu also received the news and hurried over, astonished to discover that a disciple on the 7th level was actually advancing to Yellow Spirit. Hadn't she only reached the 5th stage of Red Spirit last year? The speed of her advancement was alarming. Fearing to attract more disciples from Mingyue Palace, Ouyang Yu swiftly cast a spell to enclose the cultivation tower, anxious to prevent any leaks that might jeopardize her disciples' breakthrough. The sky darkened ominously, and Lan Qingming began to sweat. She sensed a breakthrough was imminent, yet a barrier obstructed her path. The sword spirit exclaimed, "Oh no, it's the thunder tribulation." Who undergoes a thunder tribulation when advancing to Yellow Spirit? Typically, one must endure 81 bolts of lightning to ascend to divinity. Xiao Ling, in a panic, sought artifacts to withstand the thunder tribulation. "Hurry, bring them to the young master. She won't be able to endure this." Uncertain of how many strikes the thunder tribulation would unleash. After all, even the most powerful deities struggled to withstand it, their flesh often reduced to ash. Xiao Ling retrieved an umbrella and defensive armor. Among other protective items, the sword spirit hurriedly arranged these artifacts around Lan Qingming, hoping they would withstand the impending strikes. The arriving Grand Elder reported anxiously to Ouyang, Palace Master, what shall we do? This is a thunder tribulation. Can her mortal body withstand it at such a tender age? The second elder also produced his own artifact, exclaiming, no matter the cost, let us provide her with some artifacts for protection. The third elder chimed in, this is my treasured artifact, banqueting no double. Give it to her. The elders, one after another, presented their precious artifacts. Ouyang was deeply moved by their support. Thank you all for assisting my beloved disciple. I believe she will certainly survive the thunder tribulation. Ouyang bowed in gratitude as the elders urged her to deliver the artifacts to Lan Qingming. That it was a rare occasion for Mingyue Palace to produce such a prodigious talent. They could not allow her to perish in this manner. Ouyang retrieved her sea guard shield, capable of withstanding a deity's strike, hoping it would be of use to her. She flew to the location where Lan Qingming resided, only to find herself unable to ascend to the 7th level. A chill enveloped her heart. The thunder tribulation had already begun its assault, and she quickly retreated. The Grand Elder, surprised by her rapid return, asked, Palace Master, did you deliver the items? Ouyang's spirits sank. No, I cannot ascend to the 7th level. What? It's over. She surely cannot withstand it without even a single protective item, the second elder lamented. Initially filled with hope for Lan Qingming, they were now faced with the grim reality of her potential demise. Alas, such is fate, the fifth elder sighed. Ouyang too felt a sense of loss. After all, this was a promising new disciple she had barely had time to nurture. The thunder tribulation rained down, and the surrounding cultivators trembled in fear. Thankfully, Ouyang had sealed the cultivation tower. Otherwise, it would have attracted unwanted attention from other sects. No one wished for another sect to cultivate a promising talent that might eclipse their own. Jealousy ran deep. However, a number of disciples within the cultivation tower fled in panic. Fearing the lightning would strike them, the tower's rooftop had been obliterated, and the lightning coursed through Lan Qingming's meridians, sending a jolt of pain and numbness throughout her body. A more potent bolt of lightning struck her. Her clothing already charred, her skin and hair singed. Xiao Ling furrowed her brow in concern. What should we do? This is already the 9th bolt. The sword spirit remarked, there's nothing we can do. The artifacts we provided have been obliterated by the lightning. Now, it's entirely up to her fate. Though the sword spirit often held Lan Qingming in disdain, he could not help but admire her courage and determination. She had endured far longer than he had anticipated. Should the master perish, he too, as her contracted spirit, would suffer severe repercussions. He had experienced this torment countless times before, after each of his previous masters perished. He would fall into a deep slumber for a millennium, enveloped in endless darkness. Would he be doomed to repeat this cycle? At that moment, Lan Qingming was barely conscious, her inner resolve urging her not to succumb. Suddenly, she coughed up a mouthful of blood. Her body was battered and bruised. Ouyang and the others silently counted the strikes of lightning. As long as the thunder continued, it indicated that the master of the tribulation had not yet perished. 17 bolts, the Grand Elder remarked, astonished that she had withstood so much purely through her physical resilience. My first time witnessing such a formidable display. The second elder exclaimed, a mere 10-year-old girl possesses such tenacity. Her future is boundless. The fourth elder urged, Palace Master, quickly command all disciples present to keep today's events confidential. Otherwise, it could bring disaster upon her and Mingyue Palace. Ouyang understood the seriousness of the situation and promptly issued orders to ensure the confidentiality of the day's occurrences. When the 18th thunderclap resounded, Lan Qingming radiated a blinding golden light, her spiritual energy transforming into a deeper crimson hue. The sky shifted from overcast to clear, and at that moment, Lan Qingming collapsed to the ground. Ouyang and the others were incredulous. She has reached the 1st level of yellow spirit. The Grand Elder chuckled heartily. She truly has broken through. Our Mingyue Palace has a successor. Xiao Ling anxiously sought to administer spiritual spring water and medicinal pills, yet found herself unable to exit the space. Filled with frustration, I must quickly provide the young master with healing elixirs. But how can I do so from here? You cannot even carry the spiritual spring water in your sword form. The sword spirit retorted, transforming into a small boy to take the elixirs from her hand. Give it to me. Xiao Ling gaped in astonishment. You can transform into a human now. It's because she has advanced. causing my spiritual energy to increase sufficiently for me to take on human form. However, I remain in a childlike state, the sword spirit explained casually. Despite her concern for her master, Xiaoling urged, "You must hurry." Understood. The sword spirit soared out, landing on the ground to feed Lan Qingming the elixirs and spiritual spring water. Sensing an approaching presence, he quickly concealed himself within the space. Ouyang Yu soared into the shattered rooftop, scooping up the charred Lan Qingming. "Qingdao, come and examine this little girl." Ouyang Yu carried Lan Qingming to the medicinal garden, where Qingdao had already been informed of her tribulation and prepared a medicinal bath along with healing elixirs. "Place her in this tub and fetch some clean garments. She is so filthy. This is her first visit here, and she is in such a state. How could she be even dirtier this time?" Qingdao teased, yet still reached out to check her pulse. "What is her condition?" Ouyang Yu inquired, observing the frown on Qingdao's face with concern. Qingdao waved his hand dismissively. "She has already consumed healing elixirs. There are no serious internal injuries. She will be up and about in 3 to 5 days." He spoke with unwavering conviction. "That is wonderful." Only then did Ouyang Yu feel relieved, hastily dispatching a female disciple to bring over several suitable sets of clothing. Lan Qingming slowly regained consciousness, recalling that she had experienced an exceptionally long dream, one in which her grandmother appeared. "Ouch, that hurts," she exclaimed, clutching her head. "Do not move, little Shirshu. You are still injured," a melodious female voice chimed. She glanced around, realizing she was in her own room, dressed in clean white garments. "Who are you? Why are you in my room?" She instinctively assumed a defensive posture. The female cultivator placed the food down and smiled as she explained. "Little Shirshu, the palace master sent me to take care of you. I am a disciple of the Grand Elder." Lan Qingming, still somewhat skeptical, sat up against the headboard and asked, "What is your name?" "I am Ming Nanqi." "You have been unconscious for 2 days, she replied, handing over a bowl of porridge. "Little Shirshu, please eat something. As cultivators, we do not particularly enjoy earthly food, so Mingyue Palace does not provide any exquisite dishes for you." There was a hint of regret in her tone as she continued, "In truth, I believe indulging in earthly delicacies is a great pleasure, yet since arriving in the realm of cultivation, I have not had the chance to enjoy any. I hope to savor some during my next excursion." Lan Qingming, who also had a fondness for gourmet food, felt an instant affinity for Ming Nanqi upon discovering a kindred spirit. "You enjoy delicacies as well?" "I can cook, but I lack the ingredients that my culinary skills are quite good." Ming Nanqi's eyes brightened. "Really? When you cook, could you share some with me? I can hunt for delicious spirit beasts, which will enhance your cultivation and not hinder your training." Lan Qingming readily agreed. "That sounds great. But you must tell me where the kitchen is. Just keep walking left of the arena, and you will find it. Typically, if you go there, save for some disciples tending to odds and ends." Lan Qingming nodded. "All right, I understand." Chapter 11. Creating culinary delights. Lan Qingming lifted the bowl of porridge to her lips, taking a few sips, only to find it bland and insipid. She promptly set it down. "Nanqi, could you fetch me some spirit beasts right now?" she inquired. Ming Nanqi looked up, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Are you planning to cook, little Shirshu? I shall go immediately." With that, she dashed off without hesitation. Suddenly, Lan Qingming recalled that the kitchen lacked any seasoning, which would undoubtedly compromise the flavor of her dishes. Where might she find some chili peppers? She remembered that the medicinal garden seemed to house numerous plants. Perhaps they would have something edible. Quickly, Lan Qingming stealthily made her way to the medicinal garden of Elder Qingdao, scrutinizing the various herbs. "Xiaoling, do you know where I might find chili peppers or celery?" Xiaoling scanned the area and replied, "Little master, beneath that purple flower." Following Xiaoling's gaze, Lan Qingming discovered several bright red chili peppers. "Wow, Xiaoling, you are amazing," she exclaimed in delight. Xiaoling beamed at the praise. "It is my duty to assist you." "Master," then, Xiaoling added, "Little master, over there at the edge of the grass, there are many edible herbs." Lan Qingming looked over, puzzled. "Huh, what kind of edible herbs are those?" Upon spotting a small cluster of tender green shoots, she froze. "Isn't that scallion? How could that possibly be considered grass? This is delicious and perfect for stir-frying." Xiaoling nodded. "Oh, all right." The sword spirit, Zhan Shan Jianling, could not help but roll its eyes. Only humans would eat such things. "I have no interest." It pouted adorably, crossing its arms defiantly as it declared, "Such things are merely weeds." Not delicious at all, Xiaoling retorted. Then when little master has finished cooking, you shall not eat. I want to eat. Anyway, the sword spirit muttered as it sluggishly made its way to the house to sit down. Xiaoling chose to ignore it, thinking it merely a spoiled and arrogant sword spirit. Lan Qingming chuckled. Do not be upset, Xiaoling, that I will ensure to prepare something delicious for you. Hearing this, Xiaoling burst into laughter. All right. Inside the house, the sword spirit, listening to the melodious laughter of the young women outside, grew increasingly agitated and covered its ears. Humph. I shall never lower myself to bow before that woman. After gathering the ingredients, Lan Qingming was preparing to leave when Elder Qingdao spotted her. He shouted, Thief! Stop right there. Thankfully, having changed into another outfit, she quickly scaled the wall to escape, with Elder Qingdao hot on her heels. She discreetly stashed the items into her spatial storage and circled around Mingyue Palace until she finally shook off Elder Qingdao. Returning to her courtyard, phew, she finally exhaled in relief. Had it not been for Xiaoling's guidance, she might have been caught. Elder Qingdao returned to his medicinal garden, cursing under his breath as he checked the missing herbs. To his surprise, nothing was missing save for a few red chili peppers and some weeds that he mused. This thief is rather kind. They even helped me with the weeding that I suppose those few chili peppers are a gift to her. They are hardly valuable. Ming Nanqi soon returned, her face alight with joy as she approached Lan Qingming, bringing forth the spirit beasts from her spatial storage. Little Shirshu, here are fish, chicken, goose, and even rabbits. What would you like? Lan Qingming instructed, put them away for now. We will retrieve them in the palace kitchen. All right, Ming Nanqi agreed. Lan Qingming followed Ming Nanqi as she soared on her sword to the kitchen, discovering it was quite clean, showing evidence of frequent use. The equipment was well stocked, and she gathered some firewood, channeling her spiritual energy to ignite the flames. Ming Nanqi, bubbling with curiosity, exclaimed, Wow, little Shirshu, you possess a fire spirit root. I have a water spirit root. The complete opposite of yours. She demonstrated her water-based spiritual energy, adding water to the pot. Look, little Shirshu, I can assist you. Good. Lan Qingming did not refuse, knowing that having someone to help would be beneficial. She used magic to clean the spirit beasts, chopping them before placing them into the pot. She amplified the fire's intensity with her spell, calling out, Nanqi, add some water. All right, little Shirshu. Ming Nanqi added a suitable amount of water to the pot. Now we just wait for it to simmer, Lan Qingming advised. Okay, little Shirshu, what were those red and green herbs you chopped earlier? Can they be eaten? Ming Nanqi's question caught her off guard, as she realized that the people here typically only added salt when cooking. With no understanding of seasonings, she knew the other party likely had never even heard the term seasoning, making it impossible to explain clearly. Those are a type of vegetable from my homeland. They enhance the flavor of the dish. Ming Nanqi, showing no suspicion, asked curiously, Where are you from, little Shirshu? I feel like I have never seen you before. If there were a woman as beautiful as you, surely many would seek your hand. Lan Qingming replied coolly, I lived in the ice spirit snow country for 8 years. Ming Nanqi leaned in excitedly, Wow, little Shirshu, I'm also from the ice spirit snow country. But I have never encountered you before. In truth, I often went out to play and met most of the people from the ice spirit snow country, Lan Qingming said, her expression dimming as she preferred not to delve into her past. Yet she could see that Ming Nanqi was a trustworthy friend. I previously resided in the estate of General Lan. Ming Nanqi was taken aback. What? You are the sister of Lan Dixin? The one people often refer to as the ugly and foolish girl? Realizing she had misspoken, she quickly covered her mouth, apologizing. I am sorry, little Shirshu. I did not mean to offend you. I was just so surprised. The rumors stated that the eldest daughter of the Lan family had recently fallen ill and passed away, and that Madame Lan had fled. Lan Qingming remarked, So this is the gossip circulating outside. Lin Yu and her mother are indeed trying to cover their tracks. Huh? Little Shirshu, could there be more to this story? I find Lan Dixin to be rather disingenuous and quite the green tea type. I do not like her. Lan Qingming recounted. In truth, General Lan is not my biological father. My parents were hunted down years ago and entrusted me to the Lan family temporarily, providing them with many spiritual stones, elixirs, and treasures. Yet they abused and humiliated me, causing the death of my beloved Aunt Yu, who cared for me for many years. I must seek revenge. Ming Nanqi looked at her with pity. Little Shirshu, you are so unfortunate. It seems you did not have a pleasant life within that family, as the rumors from the outside suggest. Lan Qingming shook her head. It is all right. The past is behind me. Everything will improve with time. You must keep this matter a secret, Ming Nanqi vowed. Do not worry. I will keep it under wraps. The dishes were ready. Lan Qingming prompted. Shall we take a look? Ming Nanqi, catching the delightful aroma of the food, eagerly lifted the pot lid. Chapter 12. Disciples of the Courtyard. Wow, little Shushu. This looks absolutely delicious and smells divine. Lan Qingming instructed. Please serve it on a plate. Yay! Ming Nanqi swallowed hard, unable to resist the temptation. Lan Qingming continued cooking the remaining dishes, placing them all on the table. Everything is ready. We can eat now. Ming Nanqi joyfully took a piece of rabbit meat and exclaimed. Wow, this is so good. What is this dish called, little Shushu? This is spicy chicken. It is quite fiery, Lan Qingming replied. That is perfectly fine. I love spicy dishes. The flavor is fantastic. I have not had earthly delicacies in such a long time. Meanwhile, in the spatial realm, Xiaoling was relishing the meal as Lan Qingming had already taken some dishes inside. Wow! The food master prepared is delightful. The Zhan Shan sword spirit, sensing the rich aroma, felt its mouth watering. But it held back, determined to maintain its dignity. Having eaten half, Xiaoling felt full and deliberately left the remaining dishes on the table. Dough. There is too much. I cannot finish it. That I shall save some for tomorrow. As it spoke, it cast a sidelong glance at the tightly shut wooden door. The sword spirit lay on the bed, pricking up its ears to listen intently, and only dared to stealthily emerge when the outside fell utterly silent. Its gaze fell upon the delectable chicken drumsticks on the table, and it could not help but salivate. It seized one and devoured it ravenously. Xiaoling emerged from the shadows, mocking, You clearly crave the master's food yet feigned disdain. And now you've slapped your own face, haven't you? Humph. This sword relishes her cooking. It is her honor, the sword spirit, with a touch of pride, replied, but feeling embarrassed at being caught sneaking food, it threatened, Little sprite. You must not divulge today's escapade. Humph. Do not mention it again. Xiaoling defiantly retorted. I shall not comply. You? The sword spirit, flustered and indignant, pointed a chubby finger at her, trembling slightly, however, recalling that this was her domain and realizing it could not overpower her. It resigned to endure the situation. Meanwhile, Lan Qingming was enjoying a meal with Ming Nanqi when she suddenly sensed several pairs of eyes lurking in the shadows. She raised her voice, demanding, Who goes there? Step forward. Ming Nanqi, momentarily taken aback, had been too engrossed in her food to notice the presence of others. Moreover, being only at the 8th level of orange spirit, her mental acuity was not as sharp as Lan Qingming's. A group of dirty girls timidly emerged from behind, and upon seeing Lan Qingming, they instinctively shrank back in fear. The eldest among them, slightly older, nervously apologized. Forgive us, esteemed fairy. We did not mean to disturb you. We were merely drawn here by the enticing aroma. Ming Nanqi quickly interjected, Little master, please do not harm them. They mean no ill will. They are disciples from this humble courtyard. We merely borrowed this kitchen. Lan Qingming was surprised to find a group of innocent souls lacking in spiritual power, so she hastily attempted to assist them up, only to have them recoil in fright. With a hint of regret in her voice, she said, It is my fault. I frightened you. I thought you were miscreants. To make amends, Lan Qingming presented them with the untouched braised fish. Please, enjoy this. Dai Ti was indeed my error earlier. The little girls exchanged glances. Hesitating, their hearts longed for the food, yet they feared it might be a trick. Observing their reluctance, Lan Qingming took the initiative to pick up chopsticks and sample a bite herself. There is no poison in this. I just prepared it in the kitchen. We cannot possibly finish this much, so please take it, she added. We will often come to borrow the kitchen to cook in the future. Consider this a token of gratitude. The leading girl knelt on the ground, bowing her head. Thank you, esteemed fairy. The other girls quickly approached, each taking a bite, and soon the entire table of dishes was devoured. They gazed at Lan Qingming with expressions of goodwill. Thank you. Fairy sister, your cooking is splendid. Lan Qingming gently patted the head of the smallest girl and cast a cleansing spell, instantly rendering her clean. Shall I come again next time to cook for you? Yes, your food is the best I've ever tasted. The little girl's innocent and kind gaze touched her heart. Finally, Lan Qingming waved goodbye to them, preparing to return to her own courtyard. Ming Nanqi suddenly called out to her. Little master, you truly are someone extraordinary. Cold on the outside, warm on the inside. Nothing like the rumors suggest. After resting for 2 days, Lan Qingming felt her body had fully recovered and hurried to find Ouyang. Master, I wish to accept the task from the mission hall, she said, clasping her hands and glancing at the man seated in the chair. Your injuries. Ouyang instantly teleported over, checking her pulse. You are recovering quite rapidly. Go ahead, and while you're at it, help me inspect the various properties of the Mingyue Palace. Ouyang handed her a jade pendant, upon which the words Mingyue Palace were inscribed in an elegant script. When the time comes, you can present this token to the steward, and they will heed your commands. Lan Qingming felt the weight of the jade pendant in her hand, akin to a mountain pressing upon her shoulders. Yet she recognized its benefits as she stepped into the world of martial arts. Yes, thank you, master. Ouyang continued, presenting her with a notebook. This contains all the properties of Mingyue Palace. From now on, you shall manage them. Restaurants, shops, cosmetics, and finished garments. Lan Qingming was somewhat taken aback. Master, you trust me this much? Of course, you are the chief disciple of Mingyue Palace, and I have but one apprentice. These properties will ultimately be yours to inherit. Lan Qingming was astonished by the weight of her master's expectations. Master, you are still young. You can protect Mingyue Palace for a long time. I shall do my utmost to serve. Ouyang hastily urged her on. Did you not say you were leaving? Hurry. He handed her some spirit stones, elixirs, and various magical artifacts. This is an invisibility cloak. Wear it when you need to escape. This is a protective shield that can deflect a lethal strike from formidable foes. Ouyang cautioned, take good care of yourself while you are out there. Lan Qingming was touched, her eyes misting with emotion. Thank you, master. Ouyang called out to the window, Lin, come out and protect the young lady on her journey. Take good care of her. Lan Qingming was taken aback, not expecting Ouyang to assign a shadow guard for her safety. Good disciple, do not refuse. Lin seldom reveals himself unless you are in grave danger. With Uncle Lin protecting you, I can rest easier, especially since you do not have many life-saving items on you. Uncle Lin's prowess in the green spirit. Master, I shall take my leave now. Chapter 13. Out for training, Lan Qingming packed her belongings and boarded a giant eagle flying down the mountain, with Uncle Lin shadowing her from a distance. Xiaoling, after more than a year, I can finally return with confidence. Lan Qingming communicated telepathically with Xiaoling. Xiaoling, brimming with curiosity about the outside world, replied, Indeed, little master. This time we can indulge in the culinary delights of the mortal realm. Lan Qingming knew Xiaoling had been longing for those flavors since their last encounter. All right, I will cook for you again next time. For now, let us gather some herbs. Xiaoling, puzzled, inquired, Little master, what do we need the herbs for? Lan Qingming smiled. I plan to plant them in our space. Can you help me clear out a patch of land? Sure, no problem. Little master, do you intend to learn alchemy? Your fire spirit root is quite suitable for it. Lan Qingming nodded. Yes, but the materials are too expensive. I plan to gather some myself to study. All right, little master. I will quickly find some related books for you. Thank you, Xiaoling. Lan Qingming arrived at the outskirts of the misty forest, intending to avoid the inner regions due to their treacherous nature, which was beyond her current capability to survive. The outer area of the misty forest was inhabited by lower-tier beasts, generally ranging from red to yellow spirit levels. The inner regions housed higher-level creatures, yet they also contained rare treasures and herbs. Lan Qingming carefully observed her surroundings, sensing the presence of some low-tier beasts. Xiaoling, point me to the area with the most herbs. Lan Qingming surveyed the paths before her, uncertain which to take. Little master, go left. There is only a low-tier owl guarding a blood dragon grass there. Following Xiaoling's guidance, Lan Qingming made her way through the foliage and soon spotted a vibrant red plant, albeit with 2 owls perched protectively in front of it. She conveyed through her mental connection, Xiaoling, even if we lure one away, the other will still guard it. This will be difficult to obtain. Xiaoling had anticipated this, quickly turning to the divine sword spirit with a smile. Then we'll have to rely on the sword spirit. It can transform into various forms. Me? The divine sword spirit felt apprehensive, about to flee when Xiaoling seized it. Where do you think you're going? Xiaoling tossed it out of the space and into Lan Qingming's hands. It struggled vigorously. Ah, you deceitful woman, I will never transform. The sword spirit boasted. My blade is far too handsome. Xiaoling added. Little master, Have him transform into a long ribbon. This way, we can bind the owls and cover their eyes. The sword spirit continued to resist. No, I refuse. I shall never yield. A ribbon is far too feminine. Lan Xingming tempted. I promise to prepare any delicacy you desire. The sword spirit wavered. Can you make spicy chicken, sour soup fish, fried chicken? All of those. Lan Xingming nodded. Yes, all of them. Then very well. The divine sword spirit, having been tempted by the prospect of delicious food since its last encounter, transformed its blade into a ribbon, which fell into Lan Xingming's hands. She activated the fire sword technique to attack the owls. Fire sword technique, first form. Scorching flames that erode the bone. Flames encircled the two owls, singeing the feathers of the one at the edge. All birds cherish their plumage. The two owls were instantly enraged, swooping down to claw at her from both sides, rendering her unable to move. Lan Xingming, utilizing her agility, evaded their attacks and leaped up. Using the ribbon to ensnare one of the owls, she hurled a fireball at it, prompting the owl to reflexively block. Unexpectedly, Lan Xingming seized the ribbon, covering its eyes to disorient it, and ultimately bound the ribbon to a tree. Its companion, witnessing this, hesitated in fear and, desperate to avoid capture, hastily took to the sky. Then it fled. The divine sword spirit disdainfully reverted to its blade form. How cowardly! We didn't even get to have a proper fight. Xiaoling chuckled. That is because they realized they could not win. Lan Xingming hastily instructed, Xiaoling, quickly gather those 3 blood dragon herbs, plant them in the space, and water them with the spirit spring water. When the time comes, we can return one to master. Xiaoling promptly complied, responding, Yes, young master. These blood dragon herbs are quite rare. They cost no less than 500 spirit stones outside. Not only do they enhance spiritual power, but they also expand meridians, providing immense benefits for cultivation. Lan Xingming was pleasantly surprised to encounter such a treasure so soon after venturing out. It seems our luck remains favorable, and I must thank you, Xiao Ling, for your guidance. The sword spirit of the divine slayer grumbled discontentedly. What about my assistants? Were it not for my transformation into a ribbon, you would have been unable to defeat them. Humph. Yes, thank you, Lan Xingming replied with a hint of exasperation. She continued onward, only to suddenly hear voices approaching, prompting her to swiftly hide in a tree. Hurry over there and search. We must find the person, dead or alive. If we can't catch them, we may all lose our heads. Yes. Lao San, you lead the search to the left, while I take the team to the right. Lan Xingming held her breath, fearful of revealing her presence. As these individuals were of considerable rank, young master, there are 5 at the yellow spirit 5th stage and 14 at the orange spirit pinnacle, with a green spirit leading them. This could prove troublesome. Lan Xingming remarked, I wonder who is so unfortunate as to be pursued by such a crowd. Even if they escape with their lives, they will surely suffer greatly. The sword spirit of the divine slayer lingered beside her, stating, There is a scent of blood over there. After the group moved away, Lan Xingming quickly descended from the tree and ran into a patch of grass, where she indeed discovered 2 injured men. One was clad in black, fiercely protecting the man in white. Lan Xingming raised an eyebrow, surprised that the man in black was willing to sacrifice his life for the one in white. He appeared to be a person of loyalty and honor. Xiaoling, should we help them? They are likely the ones that group was searching for, and if we do not find a safe hiding place, we may also become their targets. Xiaoling, possessing a kind heart, felt reluctant to witness their demise without offering aid. Young master, let us save them. From the conversation of that group, it seems they are innocent victims merely being hunted. Lan Xingming nodded. Xiaoling, where might there be a cave nearby? One that offers a degree of concealment. Xiaoling pointed ahead. There is only one within the inner area. If we enter, they will not dare to pursue us easily. Without hesitation, Lan Xingming replied, All right, let us go in. Sword spirit, come lend a hand. The sword spirit recognized the urgency of the situation. We must leave quickly, or it will be too late if they return. Upon entering the inner area, the sword spirit of the divine slayer unleashed its formidable presence, deterring ordinary spirit beasts from approaching, ensuring their safety throughout the journey. Chapter 14. Rescuing 2 mysterious individuals upon reaching the cave. Lan Xingming immediately sealed the entrance to prevent the scent of blood from escaping. She retrieved a wooden bed from her space and placed the man in white upon it, then took out a recliner for the man in black. Xiaoling curiously inquired, Young master, when did you craft these bed and chair? Lan Xingming explained, I found sleeping on the ground uncomfortable during my travels, so I chopped down some trees to make them. Xiao Ling could not help but praise, impressive. I never realized there were such items in your space. Lan Xingming examined the condition of the man in white with her spiritual sense. Frowning, he is severely poisoned, with numerous sword wounds, and it seems he has also been afflicted by a goo poison. Xiao Ling gasped. What a tragic fate. Goo poison has long been lost to history. It is said only those from the West employ it. Young master, does this mean he may not live much longer? Lan Xingming replied, not necessarily. Let me try it out. He should be able to survive. Xiao Ling expressed astonishment. Young master, how will you help? You lack medical knowledge. Lan Xingming shook her head. I do not know medicine, but there was a rumor among my ancestors that I am uncertain if it holds any truth. Xiao Ling asked curiously, what rumor? It seems my ancestor practiced goo cultivation. My memories from childhood are quite hazy, but I distinctly recall a phrase. Our blood can resolve 100 poisons. The sword spirit exclaimed. Why does that sound so familiar? My previous master once said something similar. But after her passing, I have forgotten what she looked like. The sword spirit's tone grew somber. Xiao Ling fell silent, contemplating. Perhaps there is a destined connection. Young master, it may be worth a try. Lan Xingming replied thoughtfully. She then checked the pulse of the man in black. He bore only external injuries and had damaged meridians. Sword spirit, transform into human form and assist me. The sword spirit immediately took the form of a small boy. Go and feed these pills to the man in black. Lan Xingming retrieved several 8th grade pills left by her mother. Pills are ranked from 1 to 10, with higher grades indicating superior quality. In the Ice Spirit Snow Country, 8th grade pills are exceedingly rare. Without hesitation, she administered one to the man in white, then took out a bucket of spirit spring water to apply to both individuals. The water can be ingested or applied externally. After treating their external injuries, Lan Xingming finally sat down to rest, drenched in sweat. The sword spirit kindly offered her a cup of water. Drink. Both Xiao Ling and Lan Xingming were taken aback. Is this the sun rising in the west? You are willing to serve me water? The sword spirit had already recognized her over the past few days, but was too proud to admit it. I find you quite admirable. Many aspects of you remind me of my previous master. Lan Xingming raised an eyebrow. Are you still attached to her? Naturally, I am attached, but it is of no use now. She was a kind woman, skilled in medicine, who devoted her life to healing others, only to be betrayed by those close to her. Lan Xingming sympathized with the woman upon hearing this, offering, do not worry. I have heard that good people go to heaven after death. She may have already found a better place. The sword spirit's small, tearful voice inquired, really? A better place? Indeed, a place devoid of strife, peaceful, where cultivation is unnecessary. And people are kind to one another, protected by the law. Although the sword spirit and Xiao Ling did not fully comprehend what law entailed, they could imagine it as a time of peace and goodwill. Young master, when will they awaken? Xiao Ling asked. They should wake shortly. Are you hungry? Shall we go hunt some beasts and return with a feast? Xiao Ling eagerly replied. Yes, I am so hungry. Lan Xingming retrieved her bow and arrow, preparing to head out. Sword spirit, you remain here to protect them. If they awaken, instruct them not to move about recklessly. Otherwise, their wounds may reopen and bleed profusely. The sword spirit transformed into a small child, obediently replying, all right, you take care, and I will wait here for your delicious return. Exiting the cave, Lan Xingming only dared to hunt low-tier beasts nearby, avoiding the center of the inner area. Moreover, without the sword spirit's oppressive presence, numerous beasts were drawn to her, attacking her upon catching her scent. Young master, be cautious of the tree ahead. There is a red moon leopard at the yellow spirit stage. Just as Lan Xingming attempted to retreat silently, she stepped on a twig, producing a crack that startled the red moon leopard. It glared fiercely at her and lunged forward to attack. Lan Xingming swiftly employed the fire blade technique, executing the second form. Infernal flames ignite. Her spiritual energy transformed into countless fireballs, hurling them at the red moon leopard. Xiao Ling shouted urgently, young master, quickly retreat into the space. Lan Xingming hastily activated her thoughts to retreat into the space, while the red moon leopard, enraged by the sudden disappearance of its target, roared and toppled surrounding trees. Xiao Ling, what now? We cannot defeat it. Lan Xingming pleaded for assistance. Xiao Ling frowned. Young master, even if you exit the space. You will return to the same location, with no trees for cover. We will still be discovered. Lan Qingming pondered. It is currently at the Yellow Spirit's 6th stage, 5 stages above me. We cannot confront it head-on. Suddenly, an idea struck her. Oh, I have the invisibility cloak Master gave me. If I wear it, I can move quietly. Xiao Ling exclaimed in delight. Your master is truly wise. It is essential. Lan Qingming smiled. Indeed, Master has provided me with much assistance and equipped me with many life-saving tools. And Uncle Lin is also here to protect me. Oh, wait. If we suddenly vanish, what will happen to Uncle Lin? Xiao Ling gestured for her to calm down. Do not worry, young master. Uncle Lin did not enter the inner area, but returned to inform your master. Lan Qingming grew increasingly anxious. Then master must be very worried about me. Oh no, I need to write a letter to prevent him from descending the mountain to search for me. Exiting the space. Lan Qingming donned the invisibility cloak and truly slipped away silently to safety. With a sigh of relief, she returned with several rabbits after hunting nearby. Upon reaching the cave entrance, she called out, Sword Spirit, I am back. Have they awakened? Upon entering, she was met with 3 pairs of eyes gazing at her, to be precise, 3 sets. As the Sword Spirit looked at her eagerly, the Sword Spirit pouted. Master, where have you been? You took so long to return. Lan Qingming explained the events that had transpired. She then approached the 2 men, using her spiritual energy to assess their conditions. Good. Their external injuries are nearly healed. They just need to recuperate from their internal injuries. Chapter 15. Severely wounded. The man in black swiftly clasped his hands in gratitude. Thank you, young lady, for saving us. In the future, I shall repay this kindness with all my heart. It is nothing. However, there are many pursuers outside, including a skilled green spirit and several yellow spirits. They will be difficult to deal with. Qingshan lowered her gaze and said, I know that my master and I are being hunted down. They will not leave until they find us. Lan Qingming replied, I have brought you into the inner area. For the time being, they will not locate this cave. You should rest and recuperate. Noticing that the man in white had been silent while staring intently at her, Lan Qingming playfully asked, Do I have something on my face? Qingshan, aware of her master's lack of eloquence, hurriedly explained, There is nothing at all. The young lady is simply beautiful, and my master is not good with words. I apologize for any offense, young lady. Lan Qingming nodded in understanding. Qingshan was captivated by the girl as soon as she entered. He had initially thought a powerful figure had rescued them, only to discover it was a young girl who appeared quite youthful but had already surpassed the yellow spirit level, which was indeed rare. There seemed to be an air of mystery about her that continually drew him in. This was the first time Qingshan had seen his usually indifferent master so entranced by a girl, and he quickly reminded him, Master? Qingshan seemed to realize that his gaze was inappropriate and promptly averted his eyes. Clearing his throat, he said, Apologies, thank you for saving us. My name is Qingshan. May I ask for your name? I am Lan Qingming, she replied. Lan Qingming, what a lovely name, Qingshan murmured. Xiao Ling praised from within the space. Young master, this young man is incredibly handsome, and he has been staring at you. He must be captivated by your beauty. Lan Qingming did not respond and continued preparing the meal, efficiently finishing the dishes and placing them in the pot before igniting the fire with her spirit energy. Upon seeing her use spiritual power, Qingshan exclaimed, Wow, young lady, you are actually a single-element fire spirit root, and have already broken through to the first level of yellow spirit. Lan Qingming, puzzled, asked, What's wrong? Unable to contain his astonishment, Qingshan exclaimed, How old are you? I just celebrated my 10th birthday not long ago. I am already 11 in virtual years, she replied. Qingshan swallowed hard. Good heavens, what a prodigious talent you are. I am 4 years older than you, yet my spiritual power is 3 levels lower than yours. I initially thought my master was extraordinary, but it turns out you are even more remarkable. My master was only at Orange Spirit level 9 at 10, and was already called a genius. Only then did Lan Qingming take note of his name. At 10, you reached Orange Spirit level 9. Qingshan, you are the 3rd prince? Qingshan was somewhat surprised. You know, Lan Qingming nodded. Naturally, after all, you are a renowned genius from the Ice Spirit Snow Kingdom. Qingshan complimented. Yet you are even more impressive. Lan Qingming proudly lifted her chin. Indeed, there are always greater talents beyond the horizon. I must be quite formidable. But the sword spirit could not help but mock. Young master, could you perhaps tone down the self-admiration? A little praise and you are on cloud nine. With your spiritual power, you would be nothing but a punching bag for those black-clad men. The sword spirit relished in ridiculing others. You? Say that again? And I swear I won't feed you. Lan Qingming threatened. Ah, please don't. Young master, I was wrong. You are the most powerful. The sword spirit quickly begged for mercy. Qi Qingshan found it rare to witness such a harmonious and humorous dynamic between the master and servant. A slight smile gracing his lips, Qingshan was astonished to see his usually frosty master smiling. It seemed that he had taken a liking to this pair, or rather, that he was developing affections for the beautiful girl. Especially given her stunning looks and impressive abilities. In his heart, Qingshan began to imagine the scene of them together, a match of talent and beauty. If only his master were not afflicted by that poison. Lan Qingming finished preparing chicken soup, stir-fried rabbit meat, and roasted several large rabbit legs. All right, you can come over for a meal now. Be careful not to strain your wounds, she called out. The sword spirit was the first to grab the roasted rabbit meat and dig in. While Lan Qingming also set aside some for Xiao Ling, she took out 3 sets of bowls and chopsticks, distributing them to the 2 of them. Initially, they hesitated to eat, but seeing how joyfully Lan Qingming and her spirit were enjoying their meal, they gradually relaxed and began devouring the meat. Qingshan had never tasted such delicious meat before. Wow, young lady Lan, your cooking is exquisite. It is the best meal I have ever had. Lan Qingming smiled. Then eat more. Don't waste it. All right. Qingshan eagerly drank a bowl of chicken soup, feeling it warm his stomach. Qi Qingshan was not fond of conversation, but occasionally stole glances at Lan Qingming's beautiful profile. He genuinely admired her formidable strength at such a young age. After meeting her, he felt his own abilities were insignificant. After the meal, Lan Qingming took out a chain and a bed, placing them inside to shield their view. All right, you two rest well. Lan Qingming spent the night in meditation and cultivation. She had been in battle recently and felt her realm was somewhat unstable. There was a vague sense of impending breakthrough. She had originally intended to consume the blood dragon grass, but without an alchemy furnace, she found it difficult to swallow a green, oily herb. The next morning, Lan Qingming rose early to hunt, believing it would enhance her combat prowess and aid in her breakthrough. Qi Qingshan, for the first time in his life, slept soundly and, upon waking groggily, discovered that only Qingshan and the sword spirit were in the cave. Where is she? He inquired. Qingshan replied, Master, Miss Lan has gone hunting. Qi Qingshan nodded in reassurance. Lan Qingming returned, her arms laden with spoils, only to suddenly realize that the group of black-clad men from yesterday had entered the inner area. The leader, adorned with a jade token, was searching the vicinity with his subordinates. Realizing they were about to discover her, she quickly concealed herself in her space. Xiao Ling, trouble is brewing. The black-clad men from yesterday have arrived, Lan Qingming said anxiously. Xiao Ling produced a box. Young master, this is a gift for your recent breakthrough to Yellow Spirit. Open it and see. It might be useful. Lan Qingming opened the box to find a green vine inside. Xiao Ling explained, Young master, this is the green vine, which can ensnare enemies and drain their spiritual power. You can bond with it by dripping your blood on it. Lan Qingming bit her finger, letting a drop fall onto the vine, quickly establishing a connection with it. Green vine, how many people can you bind? She asked. The vine extended numerous branches, spreading to every corner of the space. Lan Qingming estimated its reach should suffice to eliminate the few men. But Xiao Ling, that green spirit will be difficult to kill, she remarked. Xiao Ling replied, You need not take action. Simply send the green vine to deal with those low-level black-clad men. Chapter 16. Acquiring a phoenix. Lan Qingming emerged from her space, concealing her presence, with the green vine coiling around her wrist like a green bracelet. Using her spiritual sense, she commanded, Green vine, go and eliminate those individuals first. The green vine immediately darted out, producing many tendrils that ensnared a dozen or so orange spirit black-clad men. Ah! They screamed in unison, only to rapidly wither away, becoming mere corpses. One black-clad man cried out for help. Boss, save me. What kind of monster has ensnared me? I can't move. Another black-clad man attempted to cast a spell, shouting, Useless fool. Don't you know to use spiritual energy to sever its roots? It must be a creature of this forest. The ensnared man let out a final, desperate cry before perishing. The leader of the black-clad men finally realized the gravity of the situation and urgently commanded, "Everyone, be cautious of your surroundings. The inner area is perilous. Do not provoke any high-level beasts hiding in the trees." Lan Xingming's eyes lit up as she suddenly conceived a brilliant idea. "Xiaoling, where can I find a high-level beast nearby?" "Straight ahead, there is a thunder charm wolf at the first level of green spirit," Xiaoling replied. Seizing the opportunity while the black-clad men battled the green vine, Lan Xingming swiftly flew to the entrance of the high-level spirit beast's den. She took out the blood spirit grass and used her spiritual energy to waft its fragrance into the cave. "Young master, this blood spirit grass is highly enticing to beasts, so it will surely come out. You only need to guide the scent towards the black-clad men." Lan Xingming nodded. "Understood." Upon returning to the scene with the black-clad men, she found that many of them at the yellow spirit level were severely wounded, and the orange spirits had nearly become desiccated corpses. She smiled, recalling the green vine. "Now they will truly suffer. Let me find the best vantage point to enjoy the show." Xiaoling laughed. "Ha ha ha, they still have no idea what is happening and are resting." Lan Xingming scrutinized the token on the leader of the black-clad men, thinking, "Why does this token look so familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere before." "Ah, in general land study?" Xiaoling asked curiously. "What about the token, young master?" Lan Xingming sneered, her gaze bloodthirsty as she looked at them. "What a narrow fate. They are the assassins of the Lan family. It seems I can repay both new and old grievances today." Xiaoling expressed concern. "But young master, your strength is vastly inferior to his." Lan Xingming smiled reassuringly. "Do not worry, Xiaoling. I won't confront him head-on. Let the Thunder Charm Wolf wear him down first. Then I shall strike when he least expects it." Xiaoling cautioned. "That sounds good, but please be careful. Yes, look, they're starting to fight." Lan Xingming perched on a tree, observing as the black-clad men and the Thunder Charm Wolf engaged in a fierce battle. Xiaoling remarked, "Young master, they cannot defeat the Thunder Charm Wolf. It is already at the green spirit level, and they are at a significant disadvantage." Lan Xingming pondered, "If I were to battle the green spirit, what would my chances of victory be?" Xiaoling hesitated to discourage her, responding tactfully, "The odds of winning might not be high, Lan Xingming. In truth, it is not entirely certain. Should I find myself at a disadvantage, I could enlist the aid of Qing Ting or stealthily retreat into the space." Xiaoling felt considerably reassured. "That is good." At a tea that moment, a small golden bird alighted upon Lan Xingming's hand, pecking gently at her palm, leaving behind a mark in an instant. The golden bird radiated a brilliant light, and a voice echoed in her mind. "Beautiful young lady, my name is Bai. You smell delightful. Do you happen to have something to eat?" Both Lan Xingming and Xiaoling were taken aback by this unexpected encounter. "Who are you? Where did you come from? How did we inadvertently form a contract?" Lan Xingming exclaimed. She circled around the bird, unable to suppress her sarcasm. "Am I to believe I have contracted a juvenile bird?" Bai retorted indignantly. "Master, you must not speak of me in such a manner. I am a divine beast, a phoenix," Xiaoling interjected. "Little master, he is indeed a young phoenix, likely having just hatched." Bai proudly puffed out his chest. "Quickly, praise me, human. You have stumbled upon an extraordinary treasure." Lan Xingming scrutinized the phoenix. "Why does it resemble a parrot?" Bai, in a fit of rage, stamped his foot. How dare you, woman? It is intolerable. A dignified phoenix such as I being likened to a mere parrot. Were it not for the enticing aroma of roasted chicken wafting from you, I would not have formed a contract with you." Lan Xingming produced a golden brown roasted chicken. "Is this what you mean?" Bai's eyes lit up, quickly flying over to seize it. "Wow. It smells wonderful and looks delicious. Master, hurry and let me have a taste." Lan Xingming, teasingly, lifted the roast chicken. "Then will you assist me in a hurry later?" "All right, I promise. Just let me eat." Bai could no longer contain his drool. Xiaoling laughed heartily in the space. "Another glutton has arrived, little master. You will need to prepare a larger quantity of food in the future." Lan Xingming chuckled. "No worries, I will cook plenty of delicious dishes, as I enjoy eating too." Bai, satisfied after eating, rubbed his belly and lay on a branch. Lan Xingming inquired, "Can you defeat the green spirits people?" Bai replied confidently, "Of course. I can easily handle them. Just one breath of my true fire, and they will be reduced to nothing." After contemplating for a moment, Lan Qingming noted that the black-clad individuals below had been nearly vanquished, leaving only one green spirit and 3 yellow spirits alive. Qiu Bai, Qing Tong, follow my lead shortly, she commanded. With a leap, Lan Qingming descended, standing before the remaining figures with a wicked grin. Long time no see. Zhan Huwei, the leading black-clad man, was visibly shocked, his pupils widening. They wore black masks, obscuring their faces, but Lan Qingming easily deduced his identity from the Blue family's Dark Guard command token he bore. You are the young lady. You are still alive. How did you survive in this foggy forest? Lan Qingming had no desire for idle chatter. They had tormented the original owner enough. Utilizing her spirit power, she struck them unexpectedly. Zhan Huwei reacted swiftly, immediately defending himself. Young lady, you actually broke through to the yellow spirit level in just 2 years. Another black-clad man, already injured, was further affected by Lan Qingming's spirit power and violently spat out blood. Cough, boss. His companion quickly handed him a pill. Hurry and take this. Zhan Huwei's eyes gleamed with malice as he scolded. Young lady, it was your fault from the beginning, yet Aunt Yu helped you escape. If only you would return and apologize to the general, he would surely forgive you. Chapter 17. Eliminate Zhan Huwei. Lan Qingming scoffed. Do you think I need his pity? I will repay you all for how you once bullied and humiliated me. Zhan Huwei, seemingly undeterred, continued. Young lady, General Lan is your father. You are bringing shame upon the family. Lan Qingming brandished a vine against him. Oh, he is not my biological father. How can you speak of patricide? Zhan Huwei's eyes widened. You actually know, and you harbor thoughts of patricide? He intensified his pressure, launching his spirit power at her. Thunder strike, slash, Lan Qingming quickly formed a red shield with her spirit power. But the thunderous force shattered her shield and surged toward her. Is this the power of the green spirit? She wiped the blood from her mouth and stood unsteadily. Zhan Huwei smirked triumphantly. Young lady, today I shall teach you a lesson on behalf of my master. You have become a useless being incapable of cultivation. Why should you steal the limelight from the second miss? The position of the legitimate daughter rightfully belongs to her. She is the true favored one. You are merely a discarded waste. Lan Qingming glared at him fiercely. So you are one of Lan Dixin's people? You are the ones who poisoned me, preventing my cultivation and allowing others to humiliate me. Zhan Huwei replied smugly. So what? You still cannot defeat me, he commanded the other 3. Capture her, sever her limbs, strip her of her spirit power, and throw her to the tigers. The subordinates responded, yes. As Lan Qingming saw the 3 encircle her, she quickly assumed a defensive posture. The resentment within the original owner's body surged. Qing Tong? Go. Bind them. Qing Tong swiftly launched an attack. Lan Qingming did not wish to elaborate excessively. I will personally avenge the Lan family in due course. For now, you may spare their lives. As I desire to take matters into my own hands. Qi Qingchen, understanding her reluctance to speak further, did not press the issue. Very well. Lan Qingming then took his pulse. The residual poison within you has been purged, and your external injuries are nearly healed. However, the cursed poison within you is indeed quite challenging to treat. Qi Qingchen was taken aback that she knew of the cursed poison afflicting him, and he inquired in astonishment. You understand cursed poison? Lan Qingming shook her head. I do not comprehend it, but I possess the means to resolve it. Qing Xian, filled with excitement, grasped her hand. Miss Lan, can you truly cure the cursed poison afflicting my master? Lan Qingming furrowed her brow and withdrew her hand. However, this may cause some harm to my own body, and my success rate is only 70%. Initially reluctant to disclose this information, she felt they were good people after spending time together over the past few days. Moreover, Qi Qingchen's talent was exceptional. It would be a grave loss should he fall. My blood can counteract many poisons, but this is merely a saying passed down from my ancestors. Chapter 18. Parting ways with Qi Qingchen. Qi Qingchen, equally agitated, replied, Miss Lan, I can offer you a reward. I am willing to comply with all your requests and shall provide you with medicinal herbs to replenish your vitality. May I inquire about your thoughts on this? I can assist you. But you must not disclose this matter to others. Qi Qingchen was well aware that should it fall into the wrong hands, it could jeopardize her safety. Very well. Thank you. Miss, Lan Qingming responded, but I cannot resolve it at this moment. Qing Shun, anxious, asked, how long will it take to resolve? My master has suffered greatly due to this cursed poison. It not only severely hampers his cultivation, but also causes him excruciating pain every 3 days. I implore you, Miss Lan, to save my master. Qing Shun was nearly on the verge of kneeling. Qi Qingchen, understanding her distress, immediately grasped the situation. Miss Lan, do you require anything? Lan Qingming replied, I will need numerous precious herbs, and then I must cut my wrist to draw forth the poison and eliminate it. Qing Shun realized his rashness and quickly apologized. I beg your pardon, Miss Lan. I was simply too agitated. Yes, at that time, both the herbs and my blood can lure it out. I merely fear that my blood may prove ineffective. Qi Qingchen recognized her prudent consideration. Very well, thank you, Miss Lan. I assure you that you will be generously rewarded upon our return. He retrieved a white jade token from his spatial storage, inscribed with the character Qi. Miss Lan, you may use this token to find me at the third prince's residence. Qi Qingchen's face flushed slightly. Qing Shun's eyes widened in astonishment. Master, is that not the token the Empress gave you? Qi Qingchen shot her a warning glance, and Qing Shun immediately covered her mouth. Ahem. Lan Qingming handed over the jade token and casually produced a token of her own. You may use this to locate the manager of Mingyue Tower and send me a message. I will do my utmost to arrive. This was an internal token of Mingyue Tower, of which only esteemed guests possessed two. She currently had one on her person. Qi Qingchen examined the token. Are you from Mingyue Palace? Lan Qingming did not expect him to be so knowledgeable, indeed. Qing Shan was equally astonished. So Miss Lan is a disciple of a great cultivation sect. No wonder her talent is extraordinary. Lan Qingming then produced several empty vials and, cutting her wrist, allowed her blood to drip into them. Qi Qingchen, anxious, attempted to intervene. Miss Lan, what are you doing? Preparing a remedy to suppress the cursed poison. Lan Qingming swiftly filled a small vial with her fresh blood. You may use this in conjunction with Ningxin grass to concoct a pill for consumption. I currently lack an alchemical furnace to refine it. Qi Qingchen's eyes flickered. Miss Lan, you have assisted me greatly. I shall gift you this alchemical furnace, which I purchased at an auction. However, I do not know how to refine pills myself, so I am giving it to you. He produced a magnificent golden alchemical furnace. Lan Qingming immediately took a liking to it and did not hesitate to express her gratitude. Thank you. She then produced a blood spirit grass in return. Let us trade. Although my item may not be as precious as your furnace, Qi Qingchen, equally generous, responded. Then I shall not be polite with you, Miss Lan. Little Ling exclaimed joyfully. Young master, now we need not purchase an alchemical furnace. And the blood spirit grass in our storage has already sprouted 8. Lan Qingming was also elated, indeed. Lan Qingming addressed the pair. Now that your injuries have healed significantly, it is time for us to depart. Qing Shun assisted Qi Qingchen as they made their way outside. Very well. The trio quickly exited the inner perimeter of the misty forest, with Lan Qingming harvesting numerous herbs along the way. Little Ling tended to the herbs. Young master, our storage is now brimming with herbs. Lan Qingming was thoroughly satisfied. Yes, it is enough for me to attempt alchemy. Upon exiting the forest, Lan Qingming summoned Xiaobai and mounted it. Waving goodbye to them. Until next time, Qi Qingchen stood in place until her figure vanished from sight, caressing the jade token. Mingyue Palace, Lan Qingming murmured, relishing the melodious name. The days spent in her company had brought him an unparalleled sense of comfort. He seemed to have fallen for her at first sight. Upon returning to the palace, Qing Shun, within the Ice Spirit Snow Kingdom's royal palace, General Lan knelt in the grand hall, pleading for mercy. Your Majesty. This is slander. I harbor no ulterior motives. I have never sent anyone to assassinate the third prince. The Snow Emperor furrowed his brow, seething with anger. What is the meaning of this? Chun'er has already presented the token of the men who attempted to assassinate you. Has the Lan family grown too brazen of late, daring to assassinate a prince? The Snow Emperor cast the token before the kneeling General Lan, who trembled as he picked it up, nearly fainting. He prostrated himself fervently. Your Majesty, this is not my subordinate's token. It has been forged by someone else. The Snow Emperor fixed his gaze upon him. Oh, do you have any evidence to prove your innocence? General Lan produced an identical token. Your Majesty, please take a look. The Snow Emperor examined the token but failed to discern any discrepancies. General Lan explained. This token differs from the counterfeit. The genuine one bears a unique pattern in the corner. Upon inspection, The Snow Emperor indeed found it to be true. But how can I ascertain which one is authentic? What if you are lying? The third prince, Qi Qingchen, interjected. Father, at the time of the assassination attempt, there were dozens of assailants, all clad in black, belonging to the Green Spirit, Yellow Spirit, and Orange Spirit factions. The Snow Emperor commanded. Summon your subordinates to see if any are missing. General Lan discreetly smirked, feeling triumphant, and cast a challenging glance at Qi Qingchen. He had prepared in advance, crafting new tokens and puppets overnight. In the grand hall, dozens of black-clad figures stood listlessly, their heads bowed. Resembling soulless husks, General Lan defended himself. Your Majesty, you see, not a single one is missing. Both the Snow Emperor and Qi Qingchen frowned in unison. Why do they appear so vacant, as if devoid of life? General Lan cunningly smiled. Your Majesty, they are death warriors, hence they have long been stripped of independent thought. Is that not quite normal? Qi Qingchen's expression darkened. Father, these individuals' thoughts are clearly being controlled. As if they are marionettes, General Lan, basking in his apparent victory, chuckled. But Your Majesty, their mere existence proves they are alive, which signifies that I did not send anyone to assassinate the third prince. May I take my leave now? The Snow Emperor waved his hand, signaling for him to depart, marking yet another failure. Lan Qingming arrived in Qiang town of the Ice Spirit Snow Kingdom. She first entered a clothing shop under Mingyue Tower, posing as a customer to survey the offerings. Young lady, please show me your finest garments, a piercing female voice commanded. The attendant hurriedly responded, Miss Yi, please proceed to the second floor. The lady, seemingly dissatisfied, questioned, Cannot you bring them down for me to see? The attendant, a patient young woman, gently explained, Miss Yi, our establishment mandates that the second floor is designated for esteemed guests. To ensure the integrity of our garments, they are stored there. We fear that our young attendants may inadvertently damage them. Allow me to assist you in ascending to the second floor, and as a token of our appreciation, we shall also present you with a fragrance pouch. Upon hearing this, Miss Yi ceased her demands. Very well, then. Lan Qingming observed the attendant with satisfaction. She was articulate and adept at soothing customers' emotions. Providing commendable service, a promising talent indeed. At that moment, another attendant approached warmly. Miss, do you have any particular garments in mind? Take me to the second floor to have a look. The attendant appeared quite excited. Thinking that a significant customer had arrived, and promptly escorted Lan Qingming upstairs. Enthusiastically, she introduced the garments. Miss, these are our new arrivals, which will certainly complement your figure perfectly. Lan Qingming was drawn to a delicate green dress and a vibrant red gown. Habitually inclined to bargain, she blurted out. How much is this dress? Can it be offered at a lower price? The attendant suddenly froze, awkwardly stating, Our garments are not subject to negotiation. Without further ado, she attempted to escort Lan Qingming back downstairs. Miss, the items on the second floor are intended for noble ladies. If you lack the means, perhaps you should browse the first floor instead. With that, she disregarded her and turned to welcome another elegantly dressed lady. That lady, having overheard the attendant's remarks, seized the opportunity to mock Lan Qingming, bumping past her as she prepared to ascend the stairs. Lan Qingming, incensed, glared at the attendant and admonished, How dare you, a mere servant, belittle the impoverished and fawn over the wealthy? The shop has unexpectedly opened, granting everyone the right to purchase. You just silently took me down to the second floor and then abandoned me to attend to other guests. Is this how you treat your patrons? Lan Qingming exuded an overwhelming aura. Call your manager out. Quickly. The waiter seemed somewhat intimidated, glaring at her with malice. Why should I? You are clearly penniless. Yet you bargain with me? The young lady adorned with pearls disdainfully remarked. Just a pretty little girl. Who knows how many men have been lured to pay for you with that face? Her gaze was tinged with jealousy. If you lack funds, then do not visit Mingyue Tower. Do you not know it is backed by the prestigious cultivation sect, Mingyue Palace? That is a sect you cannot afford to offend. Do you dare to cause a ruckus here? Have you been idle for too long? The waiter quickly positioned himself behind the young lady, inciting. Miss Qin, this person is challenging your dignity. Miss Qin unsheathed her whip, aiming it at Lan Qingming, but at that critical moment, an orange six-tier spiritual energy barrier shielded her. Lan Qingming turned to see the newcomer, who was none other than Miss Yi, the first to enter. Qin Lan, what trouble are you stirring up this time? Is it not discomforting for you to go a day without causing a scene? Qinlan glared at her. Yi Feier, do not meddle in my affairs. Do you dare to challenge me? Yi Feier crossed her arms, looking down from the staircase. Oh? Do you think you can defeat me? Qinlan seemed provoked, immediately channeling her orange fifth-tier spiritual power to strike at Yi Feier. Ah, Yi Feier! Prepare to perish. The onlookers in the shop, fearing collateral damage, hurriedly fled in panic. Lan Qingming swiftly activated her spiritual energy to deflect Qinlan's power back at her, causing her to stagger back several steps. Blood trickled from her mouth, and the surrounding crowd gasped in astonishment. My goodness, a yellow spirit. How old is she? She looks barely in her teens. Qinlan, equally incredulous, exclaimed, You are actually a yellow spirit of the second tier. Why did you not showcase this earlier? Were you hoping to see me humiliated? Lan Qingming replied coldly, That was not my intention. I merely came to browse the clothing. It was this waiter, and you who chose to insult me. The pointed waiter trembled in fear, realizing he had inadvertently offended a formidable adversary. He quickly knelt and begged for mercy. Miss, I am sorry. I realize my mistake. Please spare me. I have elderly dependents and young children. At that moment, the manager rushed out to mediate. This young lady, it was the fault of the servants for their inadequate service. How about, the 2 garments you admired can be considered a gift from us? The manager, a man in his 40s, nervously wiped his sweat. He had heard the servants mention that someone had offended a patron and hurried over, trembling in fear upon hearing the whole ordeal. Lan Qingming produced a token. Manager, dismiss this person. The waiter, hearing this, quickly stood up, indignantly pointing at her. On what grounds do you demand my dismissal? What authority do you have? Lan Qingming, enraged, declared. By virtue of being the master here. The manager, hastily bowing, greeted her. Senior sister, what brings you here? I apologize for the insufficient welcome. This scene left Qinlan somewhat taken aback. She had not expected this young girl to be the senior sister of Mingyue Palace. Just moments ago, she had mocked her for not being able to enter the palace, and now she felt a wave of shame wash over her as she hurriedly fled. The waiter, too, had not anticipated that the person he had offended was of such high standing and was left dejected as he was sent away. The manager instructed, Give her 2 months' wages and let her leave. Lan Qingming called over the polite waiter. What is your name? The waiter, somewhat anxious, lowered his head. I am called Xiaoyu. Lan Qingming spoke kindly. You will henceforth serve as the primary person in charge here, responsible for purchasing items. The waiter quickly knelt to express his gratitude. Thank you. Mississippi, the manager, understood her intention, surmising she had noticed the waiter's recent good performance. Senior sister, your garments have been prepared. Do you need assistance with your accommodation? Lan Qingming, feeling a bit fatigued, replied, Yes, by the way, I will design some clothing patterns for you later, which can be used to create unique garments each month. The manager's eyes brightened. Yes, senior sister is going to design garments for them. Lan Qingming returned to her lavish suite on the top floor and indulged in a luxurious bath. Knock, 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 who is it? Lan Qingming inquired as she opened the door. Xiaoyu replied. Miss Yi is downstairs and wishes to see you. Do you wish to meet her? Lan Qingming, feeling puzzled, responded. Let her come up. After Yi Feier entered, she greeted warmly. Young lady, you were truly magnificent today, defeating Qinlan so thoroughly. She has been so arrogant in the past, bullying others with her power. Chapter 20. Learning alchemy. Lan Qingming found this Yi girl intriguing. She appeared haughty yet possessed a strong sense of justice. Oh? Do you have a grudge against her? She picked up her teacup and took a sip to Yi Feier, hands on her hips, replied angrily. Indeed. We have never gotten along since childhood. She always acts so arrogantly that a smile danced in Lan Qingming's eyes as she returned to the matter at hand. Well, what brings you to me? Yi Feier continued. I just think you are impressive and wanted to get to know you. I sensed the fragrance of herbs about you. Do you have the ability to heal? A flicker of something unusual crossed Lan Qingming's eyes. I do not. Miss Yi. Not everyone who carries the scent of herbs is a healer. Even the injured may carry such a fragrance. Yi Feier seemed a bit disheartened. I apologize, young lady. I acted hastily. I just had a strange feeling that you could save my brother. Lan Qingming habitually tapped her fingers on the table. What ailment does your brother suffer from? Yi Feier's eyes showed a hint of conflict, unsure of how to begin. Lan Qingming gently reminded her. If it is too inconvenient to speak of. Please do not feel compelled, Yi Feier sighed. I do not even know what illness my brother has. He suddenly lost all his spiritual power when he turned 13, rendering him a waste. My brother and parents have searched for renowned doctors far and wide, yet nothing has helped. My brother has become quite despondent. So, when I saw your profound spiritual energy and that you are a disciple of a great sect, I dared to seek your counsel. That I sincerely apologize for interrupting your enjoyment. Yi Feier stood and bowed in apology. Lan Qingming inquired of the spirit in her space. Have you heard of such an ailment? The spirit produced a dusty tome. Young master, this book is filled with many peculiar cases. Perhaps you can find an answer within. Lan Qingming diplomatically replied. Miss Yi, I truly sympathize with your brother's plight. I can only do my best to search for books and find cases similar to your brother's condition, along with potential remedies. However, I cannot guarantee that I will find a complete cure. Though Yi Feier understood this outcome might be disheartening, she still managed to smile and expressed her gratitude. Thank you, young lady, for your trouble. She rose, preparing to leave. If you find a solution, you can come to the Eastie residence to find me. She turned back as she left, explaining. I genuinely wish to be your friend and will make an effort to visit you in the future. Very well, Lan Qingming said as she escorted her to the door. After Yi Feier departed, Lan Qingming set up a barrier in her room and then swiftly entered her space. Xiaoling, bring me the book. Xiaoling hurriedly handed her the book, and Lan Qingming began to flip through its pages, cross-referencing similar ailments in her mind. After a quarter of an hour, Lan Qingming finally found a similar case on page 234. The book stated that a sudden loss of spiritual power could be attributed to two possibilities, either being rendered powerless by a person of superior strength or being poisoned. This poison is called Duanling Dan. Once ingested, it results in a total loss of spiritual power, rendering one incapable of cultivation for life, and there is no antidote. Xiaoling could not help but comment. Young master, this poison is quite lethal, but it has been banned from production for some time now. Thus, even if an antidote existed, it has long been lost. Lan Qingming glanced at her own hands. Alas, perhaps my blood could serve as an antidote. I feel as though my vitality is waning. I just recently gave a vial of blood to Qi Qingqian. Xiaoling chuckled. Young master, it seems you need to consume goji berries, red dates, and many blood-nourishing herbs regularly. Lan Qingming sighed. Indeed, today, I will head to the alchemy room to learn how to refine antidote pills. It will be a perfect opportunity to integrate my blood into the process. Xiaoling fluttered her wings, assisting Lan Qingming in gathering the herbs needed for the antidote. Young master, here you go. Fortunately, we gathered plenty of herbs from the mist forest back then. Lan Qingming nodded. Yes, thank you for your help. Xiaolinji.at this moment, QB also chimed in. Master, can I have the waste pills you create? They can help me enhance my spiritual power. But please, no poisons for me. The sword spirit of the god-slaying sword strutted with its short legs. You can eat the herbs. After all, a new batch has sprouted in the space. QB retorted. Grass is too difficult to swallow. Candy beans are much tastier. Lan Qingming crouched down, laughing. All right, I will make more of those. QB happily wagged its tail and scurried off to the hot spring. Upon arriving at the alchemy room, Lan Qingming took out the alchemy furnace given to her by Qi Qingqian and followed the steps in the book meticulously. She first placed the herbs in order, then ignited the fire with her own spiritual power. About a quarter of an hour later, the alchemy room erupted with a bang, as if an earthquake had struck, startling Xiaoling and the others. They rushed over to inquire, Young master, are you all right? As she bid farewell to Lan Qingming, she had already transformed from her previous appearance in pristine white robes to one now covered in a layer of dust and grime. The sword spirit mockingly laughed. Ha ha ha, did you just blow up the furnace? It is well known that alchemy is a challenging endeavor, requiring immense talent. Fortunately, the quality of this furnace is commendable. Otherwise, we would have to procure a new one. Lan Qingming cast a cleaning spell upon herself, restoring cleanliness to the room. After ushering them out, she became engrossed in her alchemical pursuits once more. It seemed that her previous mishap was due to her failure to regulate the heat properly, which resulted in the explosion. This time, she meticulously controlled the flames. A quarter of an hour later, the furnace emitted a rich aroma of elixirs, and upon opening it, she discovered 6 pills within. The little spirit outside caught a whiff of the fragrance and joyfully approached, exclaiming, Little master, you have succeeded. Lan Qingming began to bottle the pills, stating, "Indeed, this is a first-tier superior detoxification pill." The classification of elixirs ranges from 1st to 10th tier, with the 10th tier being of the highest quality. Each tier is further divided into superior, middle, and inferior grades, with superior elixirs being the rarest and most effective. The ranks of alchemists are categorized as junior, intermediate, and senior, certified by the Alchemy Association. Little Spirit, could you assist me in retrieving some materials for refining Yuan restoration pills and fasting pills? Lan Qingming requested. Of course, Little Master, replied the Little Spirit, who swiftly gathered the necessary ingredients. Lan Qingming examined the refining processes for both types of pills, noting that the procedures were largely similar, differing only in the materials used. To prevent the loss of efficacy, it was essential for the alchemist to pay close attention to the timing and order of ingredient incorporation. She commenced the refining of a batch of fasting pills, a relatively straightforward process, and one that was frequently required. Subsequently, she tackled the Yuan restoration pills, which proved to be significantly more complex, requiring a greater variety of materials. To ensure the preservation of the pill's potency, she meticulously monitored each step. Alas, she ended up with a first-tier middle-grade Yuan restoration pill, leaving her perplexed. Despite my vigilance in every procedure, how could I have lost so much efficacy? Lan Qingming continued to refine several batches of Yuan restoration pills until she finally achieved a first-tier superior grade. Stretching her limbs and emerging with a dozen vials of elixirs, she felt dizzy and drained. As her mental energy had been entirely exhausted, the Little Spirit hurriedly approached her, concern etched on its face. "Little Master, are you all right? You look quite fatigued." Lan Qingming waved her hand dismissively. "I am fine. I simply need to soak in the spiritual spring water for a rejuvenating bath. I feel utterly exhausted." The Little Spirit promptly instructed Qiu Bai and the others to prepare everything to go on now. Lan Qingming finally relaxed as she sank into the bath, feeling an overwhelming sense of comfort and her spirit rejuvenated. Following the address provided by Yi Feier, Lan Qingming arrived at the entrance of the Yi residence, where two young servants halted her progress. "I seek Yi Feier." The guards exchanged hesitant glances. "Miss, our young lady is currently unavailable to meet with anyone." Lan Qingming inquired, puzzled. "Why not? She asked me to come see her yesterday." After another exchange of glances, the guards bowed respectfully. "Oh, it is you, immortal. Please, come inside." They escorted Lan Qingming to the parlor, where a maid served her tea. Shortly thereafter, Yi Feier arrived, accompanied by her parents. "My lady, I did not expect you to arrive so swiftly. Have you found a way to save my brother?" Yi Feier exclaimed with excitement. Her parents were equally astonished, their eyes wide in disbelief, as they had assumed their daughter had merely made a new acquaintance. Yi Mother, tears brimming in her eyes, implored, "My lady, is it true? Can you help my son?" Yi Father added, "Let us first hear what this young lady has to say." Lan Qingming nodded. "I possess elixirs that can assist him in continuing his cultivation. But he must start from the beginning. I wonder if young Master Yi is prepared for this." She presented a vial of detoxification pills she had refined the previous day to Yi Feier. "We must assess young Master Yi's current condition to understand the specifics of his ailment." That Yi Mother sobbed. "Thank you, my lady. We shall take you to Jinger's courtyard at once." Accompanying them, Lan Qingming arrived at a secluded bamboo grove, where a young man sat in a wheelchair, a look of sorrow etched upon his face. Dressed in a loose, dark green robe, his long hair was tied with a green ribbon, blending harmoniously with the serene surroundings. At first glance, she felt compelled to describe him as a beautiful, sickly figure, a stranger as exquisite as jade, unique in the world. His eyes lacked luster, and he seemed as though a mere gust of wind could topple him. Yi Feier rushed over, squatting beside him with concern. "Brother, why are you out here alone, exposed to the wind? Where are the servants?" "I am fine, Feier," Yi Jing replied, but his words were interrupted by a fit of coughs. Yi Mother quickly draped a cloak over him. "Jinger, you must dress warmly when you come outside." "Yes, Mother." Yi Jing seemed to notice the presence of a stranger. "Mother, who is this young lady?" Straining to rise from his frail form, he nearly toppled from his wheelchair. Lan Qingming swiftly intervened, steadying him. "Young Master Yi, there is no need for such formalities. I am a friend of your sister." As Yi Jing drew nearer to the young lady, he noticed her exquisite beauty and the faint fragrance that surrounded her, causing his cheeks to flush. He hastily withdrew his hand, stammering, "Thank you, my lady." His heart raced. a stark contrast to the usual dullness in his gaze. Yi Mother hurriedly urged him inside. Jinger, your father and I are aware of your aversion to medical treatment, but this young lady claims to have discovered a remedy for your condition. Yi Jing gazed into Lan Qingming's clear, composed eyes. She smiled gently. Young Master Yi, there is no need to be anxious. I am not a physician, but I found literature yesterday that describes a condition similar to yours. Might I examine your physical state? A flicker of struggle passed through Yi Jing's eyes before he acquiesced. Very well. Lan Qingming employed her spiritual power to probe his injuries, swiftly identifying the presence of dark substances in his blood, an evident sign of poisoning. Upon witnessing her frown, Yi Mother grew frantic. My lady, is there a way to treat Jinger's condition? Lan Qingming nodded. Indeed, he has been poisoned by the rare Duan Ling Dan. The antidote for this poison is exceedingly rare and has become unattainable. The Yi family's expressions dimmed, but Yi Feier persisted. My lady, you have a method to detoxify him, do you not? Is it the elixir you just provided me? Lan Qingming confirmed. Yes, but due to my limited alchemical rank, I can only produce first-tier superior detoxification pills for now, meaning, young master, you will need to take them over several months. Yi Jing's eyes sparkled with hope. Will it truly be cured in just a few months? Yes, but I cannot produce a month's worth of elixirs at once. I will need to provide them periodically. Yi Mother eagerly agreed. Yes, my lady, as long as it can restore my son's health. We are willing to wait, no matter how long it takes. Yi Father, ever observant, inquired. My lady, I presume you will not be staying in Qiang Town for long. How will we procure the medicine when the time comes? Lan Qingming shared their concern. Indeed, that is a dilemma. Young Master Yi requires continuous medication for 5 months, and should any emergencies arise, I must be available to intervene. Yi Jing then proposed. My lady, may I inquire as to where you are headed? I could accompany you. Lowering his gaze, he added, I would not wish to be a burden. Yi Feier chimed in quickly. I can protect my brother along the way. It would be more convenient for me to care for him. Yi Father and Yi Mother exchanged glances, reluctant to part with their children, but they had no choice but to consent for the sake of their son's health. My lady, we would be grateful if you allowed them to accompany you. We will arrange for guards to ensure their safety, Yi Father declared. Lan Qingming nodded. Very well, I may need to travel to Shuegu-do, and we will need to rest in various small towns along the way. Yi Feier's eyes lit up. My lady, I have always wanted to explore different places. Yi Mother reproached. You, at your age, only think of play. Remember to take care of your brother. Yi Feier pouted. I know. Mother. The prospect of being able to cultivate once more filled Yi Jing with joy. He had believed his life was ruined. Little did he know that her arrival had rekindled his hope. The days of being unable to cultivate had been unbearably painful, and he no longer wished to endure the scorn of others. Yet, having experienced all of this, he had also come to recognize the true nature of some people. In the past, when he was adored by many, they had showered him with flattery, but when he fell from grace, it was those very friends who were the first to kick him while he was down. As Lan Qingming prepared to leave, she instructed, Please gather your belongings over the next few days. We shall set off soon. Yi Feier brimmed with anticipation for the outside world. All right, Sister Lan. Upon returning to Mingyue Tower, Lan Qingming presented the blueprint she had drawn overnight to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper, pleasantly surprised, examined the drawings. Thank you, Miss. Lan Qingming nodded. Shopkeeper, I shall be departing tomorrow. Are you heading to the next town to inspect the Mingyue Palace's properties there? The shopkeeper inquired respectfully. Lan Qingming seated herself at a table, perusing the account books of Mingyue Tower. Indeed, this is a task assigned to me by my master. The shopkeeper promptly instructed his subordinates. Prepare some new garments and funds for the young lady, as well as our shop's medicinal materials. It must be noted that the shopkeeper was quite thorough in his considerations, as Lan Qingming had only the meager amount of spirit stones provided by her master, and her attire consisted solely of the palace garments from Mingyue Palace. Thank you, shopkeeper. Miss, you are too kind. This is the least I could do. I was unaware of your esteemed visit, and I apologize for not welcoming you properly. Not at all, Lan Qingming replied. Securing the account statements, I observed that the income in recent years has remained relatively stable. The culinary industry, however, proves to be quite lucrative, albeit our family's offerings lack distinctiveness. She analyzed. Indeed, the innkeeper's eyes sparkled with realization. Might I inquire if you have any strategies in mind, miss? Lan Qingming produced a list of specialty dishes she had devised. These are various delicacies. Some spicy and others not. You may arrange them separately, and moreover, the service in the dining industry must enhance its attitude. Should guests be kept waiting for too long, it would be prudent to offer them an additional dish complimentary. Very well, miss. I shall make the necessary arrangements at once. The following morning, the Yi family arrived at Minjiula, where 2 carriages awaited outside. Yi mother, grasping Yi Feier's hand, cautioned, Feier, exercise caution while you are out. Fear not, mother, Yi Feier replied, embracing her mother with a twinge of reluctance. Witnessing this tender moment, Lan Qingming felt a pang of bittersweet nostalgia, suddenly yearning for her homeland and family, recalling the days in the modern world when her grandmother had been her sole companion. However, misfortune often strikes with alarming swiftness. Yi Jing maneuvered his wheelchair beside her, his voice as gentle as a soft breeze. Miss Lan, do you harbor any sorrows? Naturally. I believe everyone has unspoken burdens within their hearts. Leaning against the column of the wall, clad in crimson, Lan Qingming's petite, flame-like adornment on her forehead appeared even more alluring against her porcelain complexion. Her hair was elegantly secured with a jade hairpin, and in her hand, she wielded a red sword. Yi Jing looked up at her, his gaze clear. Miss Lan, it is often said that after the rain, the sun will shine, bringing forth a rainbow. I trust your troubles shall also one day dissipate. Thank you for your concern. Let us proceed, Lan Qingming declared, alighting onto the carriage first. The carriage was spacious, furnished with soft cushions that provided a comfortable seating experience. Accompanied by a small table laden with snacks and fruits, that moment, Lan Qingming mused that it would be delightful to have a television on board. Little Ling, hearing her thoughts in the space, inquired curiously, Little Master, what is a television? Can it be eaten? Haha, Little Ling, why do you think about food every day? Have you turned into a glutton? Lan Qingming teased with a laugh. Little Ling, feeling slightly embarrassed, flapped her wings and sought refuge beneath a leaf. Qiubai, patting his belly, jested, Little Ling, are you not merely covering your ears while stealing a bell? Do you think we are unaware of your hiding place? Master, when can you prepare us some delicious food again? We have finished all the fried chicken from the last time. The sword spirit transformed into the likeness of a chubby 3- or 4-year-old boy. His voice youthful and innocent. Lan Qingming smiled gently. Once we arrive in the snowy capital, I shall treat you to a grand feast. Qiubai twirled his golden feathers, murmuring, Master, the dishes from the restaurants outside cannot compare to yours. Indeed, we would much prefer your culinary creations, the sword spirit chimed in. Very well, very well. I promise to cook for you once we arrive. Lan Qingming quickly acquiesced. 4 hours later, the trio arrived in the snowy capital, and Lan Qingming intended to stroll through the streets first. Addressing the Yi siblings, she suggested, Feier, your brother is unwell. Why don't you wait for me at Minjiula? Yi Jing promptly lifted the curtain, insisting, Miss Lan, I am quite all right. After taking the medicinal pill, my health has significantly improved. Lan Qingming furrowed her brow, explaining, what I meant was to wander the streets for a while. The bustling crowds can lead to accidental collisions. Yes, brother, our presence might only trouble Miss Lan. She has to take care of us, Yi Feier gently urged. Although she herself yearned to explore the streets, her brother's health necessitated a return to the tavern for rest. Very well then, Yi Jing's expression fell as he reluctantly conceded. Finally, Lan Qingming managed to persuade the two away, setting off alone into the bustling marketplace. She soon spotted a girl selling facial masks and thought it would be convenient to purchase one to cover her face while conducting her business. Hello, how much for this mask? Lan Qingming inquired. Picking up a black and white 1.3 won each, the girl eagerly replied. Lan Qingming placed the money on the table, donned the white mask, stored the black one in her space, and departed. As she strolled straight ahead, she unexpectedly arrived at an opulently decorated auction house, where a long queue awaited entry. A burly man with a fierce countenance was inspecting tickets. Excuse me, do you accept medicinal pills here? Lan Qingming politely queried at the entrance. We do. The man glanced at her, seemingly skeptical that such a young lady could be an alchemist. I possess a batch of first-grade superior replenishing pills that I wish to resell. Please relay the message, the man disdainfully assessed her. Stop pretending. I've seen many pretenders like you. Young lady, be off with you and do not waste my time. Honestly, I have never encountered such a young alchemist. The murmurs of discontent from those behind her echoed. Nowadays, even low-grade pills are being brought to the Hua auction house. Lan Qingming frowned, feeling irritated, yet she patiently reiterated, "Please, I ask that you convey my message." The man, exhibiting a short temper, unleashed the pressure of his ninth-tier orange spirit, bearing down upon her. "I told you to get lost. Do you not understand human speech?" Observing Lan Qingming's unyielding stance, he was perplexed. "Why are you unscathed?" He then directed a surge of spiritual energy toward her. Blade of the wind, cut through the air. Lan Qingming sensed the wind elements swirling around her. Lifting various objects from the street, voices behind her relished the spectacle. "She is finished. Master Wuing is about to get serious. This is the consequence of offending the Hua auction house." Lan Qingming promptly conjured a ball of flame, countering. "You initiated the attack. I am merely defending myself." Chapter 23. Auctioning medicinal pills. Wu Ying's body was hurled against the steps behind him, and he coughed up several mouthfuls of blood. "Cough, cough you?" the crowd gasped in unison. Huang Ling Wu Ying, equally incredulous, could hardly believe that this seemingly youthful woman was a Huang Ling master. His subordinates hurriedly assisted him. Asking boss, "Should we inform Elder Yao?" Wu Ying nodded. "Yes, go." Elder Yao soon emerged, and upon seeing a silver-haired elder approach, Lan Qingming noted the spark of curiosity in his eyes. "Little girl, come in," Elder Yao beckoned. Lan Qingming followed him into a private room filled with shelves brimming with medicinal pills, the air thick with their fragrant aroma. "Little girl, I hear you are an alchemist? How old are you?" Elder Yao squinted his eyes, smiling. Lan Qingming presented over 50 bottles of replenishing pills and 20 bottles of cleansing marrow pills. "Could you please assist me in auctioning these? May I receive a portion of the deposit up front?" Elder Yao's eyes widened. It was a rarity to see someone bring forth such a large quantity of pill bottles. "Young lady, allow me to inspect the quality," he said, trembling as he opened a vial. Upon seeing the plump patterns adorning the pills, he was taken aback. "These are first-grade superior pills. Superior-grade pills are difficult to refine, and you are a first-tier alchemist at such a young age. You may inspect each vial. They are all superior grade," Lan Qingming affirmed. Elder Yao accepted the pills. "No need to check. I trust your character. Come with me to collect the spirit stones. I estimate these could auction for over 1,000 spirit stones, and we can offer you half of that amount in advance. How does that sound?" Recently, Lan Qingming found herself in need of funds, particularly as Qiu Bai required many spirit stones for advancement, and she herself needed them for medicinal materials. Primarily for alchemy, Elder Yao noted that although Lan Qingming concealed her visage, her youthful bones suggested she was merely in her teens. He had not anticipated such potent spiritual energy from a first-tier alchemist. Such a person would either be a core disciple of a major sect or a young lady from a powerful family. She must not be offended. He then handed her a black card. "This is our auction house's VIP card. You can access the 3rd floor for seating. Our annual auction will be held in 3 days. You are welcome to attend." "Excellent." Lan Qingming was eager to partake in the auction and see if she could acquire some fine items. As she departed, a staff member warmly bid her farewell. "Milady, take care." In the Three Kings Mansion, Qi Qingqian sat in a chair, contemplating a portrait of a young girl while examining a jade pendant closely. Qing Shun hurriedly entered, brimming with excitement. "Master, would you prefer to hear the good news or the bad news first?" Qi Qingqian frowned slightly, displeased. "Qing Shun, please do not be so hasty in the future." Qing Shun cowered slightly, though gathering his courage, he replied, "I have news regarding Miss Lan." Qi Qingqian stood abruptly, inquiring, "What has happened to Ming'er?" Qing Shun could not help but click his tongue in surprise. "Master, could you not display your feelings so overtly? Ming'er has already called out to you." However, he dared not voice these thoughts aloud. An informant relayed that a mysterious woman in red had appeared at the Hua auction house. Adorned with the jade pendant belonging to Miss Lan, Qing Shun reported. Qi Qingqian pressed further. "Do you know where she went afterward?" "To Minjiula. Accompanying Miss Lan are a man and a woman. The man appears to be unwell." Qing Shun explained, cautiously glancing at Qi Qingqian's expression, which had darkened ominously. "Master, the bad news is that some time ago, young Master Ning ventured into the Lan and Lin families to gather information, but he was discovered by our secret guards." Qi Qingqian furrowed her brow and quickly inquired, "How is he now?" Qing Shun replied, "Young Master Ning has been poisoned and is currently lying in the basement. Follow me to assess his condition." Hastily, Qi Qingchen rushed to the bookshelf, twisting a vase, which revealed a hidden door. They proceeded along a dark tunnel into a room where Ning Haoyan lay on the bed, barely clinging to life. The doctor hurriedly approached, clasping his hands in a gesture of respect, and explained, "Third Prince, I am truly powerless. Young Master Ning's poison has already penetrated his very bones." I in disbelief. Qing Xian grasped the old doctor's collar and demanded, "How is that possible? Young Master Ning is still breathing. If you cannot cure this minor poison, what use are you as a royal physician?" The doctor trembled as he replied, "Alas, even if you were to kill me today, I could do nothing to help. You arrived far too late. That is impossible." Qing Shun protested, for he and the third prince, as well as young Master Ning, had grown up as brothers. Though Ning often teased him for being slow-witted, he had never regarded him as a subordinate, always treating him like a true brother. Qi Qingchen urged, "Qing Shun, calm down. Quickly prepare a carriage to Mingyue Tower." Qing Shun, momentarily dazed, suddenly had a bright idea. "Yes, let us seek help from Miss Lan." Before long, a carriage from the third prince's residence arrived at the entrance of Mingyue Tower, attracting the curious gazes of passers-by. "Master, we have arrived," Qing Xian announced respectfully as he lifted the curtain. Qi Qingchen disembarked and was promptly greeted by a waiter. "Third prince, do you require a private room?" Qing Xian quickly interjected, "We are looking for someone. Miss Lan." Qi Qingchen produced a jade pendant, and the waiter immediately understood, rushing off to find the manager. Upon receiving word that Qi Qingchen was seeking her, Lan Qingming felt a flicker of confusion about how he had discovered her whereabouts. However, considering the stature of the third prince, it was hardly surprising that he possessed his own influence in the capital of Shuegua. She instructed the waiter to arrange for him to wait in a private room. And as she approached the entrance, she spotted Qing Shun waiting outside. With a bright smile, Qing Shun held the door open for her. "Miss Lan, it has been a long time. Our master awaits you inside." "Indeed," Lan Qingming replied, her eyes sparkling with mirth as she stepped in with a light gait. Qi Qingchen, who had been sipping tea, felt a surge of nervousness upon hearing her voice, mingled with excitement at the prospect of their meeting. However, her next words nearly caused his heart to leap from his chest. From behind the screen, she called out, "Oh, the esteemed third prince has graced me with his presence. Is it to reminisce about old times?" Lan Qingming jested as she took a seat opposite him. "Not quite. Rather, I have a matter that requires Miss Lan's assistance," Qi Qingchen said, a slight smile gracing his lips. Lan Qingming took a sip of her tea and asked, puzzled, "What is it?" Qi Qingchen hesitated, unsure of how to approach the subject. "A friend of mine has been poisoned and I wonder if Miss Lan has any remedies that would not endanger you?" Chapter 24. The treatment of Ning Haoyan. "How about trying this newly concocted antidote I created?" Lan Qingming offered, presenting him with a vial of pills. "If it proves ineffective, I am afraid there is little I can do." Qi Qingchen opened the vial and inquired, "Did you concoct this?" "Yes. How did you know?" Lan Qingming replied, her gaze locking onto his.